Alright. Let's see if we are good to go. Hello, peoples. How's it going? I'm waiting for chat to catch up with me. Usually takes a little bit. Hi! Excellent! Great! I see you that you can see me. Well, I don't see you. I just see that you guys can... you know what I mean. Alright. Hold on. Let's get situated just a little bit. This is too loud for me. It's going to be even louder here in a minute. Okay. Hi. I know I'm doing 2 streams in like 1 week. What are the odds of that? That's very, very, very rare. Don't get used to it. Don't get used to it. So the beta for Silver Palace literally ends tomorrow. So if we're gonna finish the story, it has to happen today. So it has to. Like I have no other time to do it. So anyway, I got Cinderella since last time. As you can see, she was free. She's interesting, but her model's really fun. Like she's kind of like, okay, so here, full disclosure, I gotta start off with this. The biggest difference between this stream and the previous one is that the first one was obviously sponsored. That's how I got access to the beta. I bypassed a lot of the lottery system that way. Very convenient. But here's the thing. One staple of sponsored streams or videos or anything else, it doesn't really matter who is sponsoring, but like one of the staples is that you don't compare the game you're playing to other games, or you try not to. So you will see me avoid questions like, how does this game compare to Genshin? How does it compare to Zenless? How does it compare to Star Rail? Right? Like, you'll see me avoid those questions. This stream is not sponsored. I'm doing this because I want to see the rest of the story. So, if you have questions about comparisons to other games, feel free to ask me. You'll also start to hear me talk about more comparison type things in this stream. But like literally, like this Cinderella in this game, her model reminds me of like a cross between Mavuika and Aglaya, and I think it's funny. But she's pretty fun. She glows in the dark. I also got a 5-star thingy, but I don't actually... Oh, jeez. Okay, so also full disclaimer. I've been playing another game that I won't name right now, but you'll find out about it soon enough. The controls are really going to screw with me. Because in that game, you hold down the B button to dash, and in this game, you hold down the B button to open the menu. This is gonna be fun. Anyway, yeah, sorry. So let me get my bearings on controls. It's dash and X for attack, and then L for okay. I think I remember. So. Is this Cinderella? Yes, this is the boss that you fight at like the very, very beginning of the story. I don't know if they're gonna keep that in, or if they just wanted to like throw you right into the thick of things right at the start for, I don't know, hook reasons. How's the character progression compared to Genshin? Kind of same. So I haven't done a lot of it, but yes, seems that way.
What's broken has been mended.
The one thing I'll say about the progression, I can't say I've done a whole lot of it. The first thing is that as far as I can tell, I don't see a lot in the way of like RNG-based equipment. It might just not be in this beta, so I don't know if they're going to do anything with that or not. But from what I've heard from people who have actually really heavily invested in their accounts to like do a lot of the combat stuff, is that it's pretty unbalanced when it comes to like getting materials. But I wouldn't use that as like oh, this game is going to be so much more grindy than another game, because like, again, this is the first beta. Nothing is tuned. So I'm not putting a whole lot of stock in that right now. You know what I mean? You gave feedback the material accumulation is too slow. We only get leveling up to 40 and it takes hundreds of stamina. Yeah, I mean, again, that's all stuff they will probably change for CBT2 and launch. So I didn't go into it too much. I did a couple of simulation runs, but I figure so long as I don't increase the world level, which makes the enemies stronger, I should be fine at these lower levels. I mean, that's kind of my hope, because if I'm not, I'm gonna die a few times, which will probably happen anyway, honestly.
Let's cut to the chase before you are silenced for good.
I mean, I'm not even like fully leveled. Yeah, see, it takes a lot just to get to level 20.
Let's keep those brats in check, and then we'll get to have our vacation in peace.
It takes a lot. What do I want to do? One thing I did want to do really quick.
Let's cut to the chase before you are silenced for good.
Let's keep those brats in check.
Let's cut to the chase before you are silenced for good.
Switch these. Yeah. I figure if I can at least level some of these a little bit, I'd stand a better chance of...
Broken has been mended.
Let's put this one... Okay. Now we're good. Now we're good. Now we're good. Now we're good. Quick question. Have you ever considered becoming a full-time Silver Palace streamer, or is it unlikely because you have your hands full? I think it's too early to say anything. Really. I don't decide on whether I'm gonna do content for a game until I've played it for a long time. Like, until I've gone through the whole first available story kind of thing. Oh, that's gonna throw me. Hold on. Hold on. I keep trying to dash with B. And it opens the menu. So, first off, I am not a streamer, and I don't have any intention of becoming a streamer. I make videos, I like it that way, so I think I'm just gonna stick to that. So if I do end up making content for this game, it's gonna be, you know, video content.
Timing is everything.
Anyway, I don't even know if I'm gonna do that. We'll find out. We'll find out. I'll know more probably around the second beta, I think. It's just too early right now. Is there no control rebinding? There is, but there's no point because like this is the last time I'm gonna play it until the second beta comes out today. Comes out like months from now. So there's not much point really. I'll get used to it after a couple of mess ups. Some NPCs are enemies you can... Yeah, I know. I know, but I'm not super into that right now. The cinder part was about Cinderella tending to the fireplace originally? Yeah, it was. Because she was always covered in cinders and ashes. I think if I remember correctly, the real original name for her wasn't cinders, it was ashes. Ashputin? I don't remember. It was a German word. I don't remember. What was the other question? There was one other question about the combat system. How's the combat system? So, combat system, in my opinion, feels like a combination of Wuthering Waves and Zenless Zone Zero. Like, I feel like it has a lot more of the dynamicism and, like, vibe of Zenless, but, like, the weight of the characters and the animations and everything else feels like Wuthering Waves to me. So, like, it's like if you kind of blended those... You can't... I put my controller down so I could talk with my hands. You can't see my hands, so this is a pointless gesture. But, you know, it's like a marriage of those two systems, I feel like. Like, the parrying feels like it's way more important in this game than it is in Wuthering Waves. It feels more as impactful as, like, it is in Zenless. But when Zenless does dodges and perfect dodges and parries, they feel heavier, if that makes sense. I don't know how else to put it. Is there horse customization? No, you just have this horse. And this is your horse. You just have him. But he does turn into a Pegasus. So that's cool. That's fun. Whee! You can kind of control him that way. The horse is fun, actually. How many betas do you think this game will have, and how much time do you think this game has in the oven? So, like, bones-wise, I think the game is pretty strong altogether. I think it needs a bit more refinement on the combat system, because the combat system feels a little bit clunky and a little bit, it doesn't feel deep enough to be interesting for a long period of time. Do you know what I mean? Like, there needs... I'm just gonna wander around the city before we start this thing as I answer questions, because I don't want to just, like, stand here. So like, the combat itself is, like... It feels very surface level. There's not a whole lot to it. Like, it's not... It doesn't really commit to any one direction, which isn't necessarily, like, a bad thing. It's just that... That's something I would expect in, like, a standalone RPG, not in a game I'm gonna be playing for potentially years. You know what I mean?
Got you.
So, like... I think it's cool that charge attacks are actually charge attacks. I think it's cool that they have the parry. I think the break bar is an interesting mechanic. But, like, the skills and passives and everything don't feel... combo-y and, like, you know, like, they don't feel like you combo them well with other characters enough. It feels like it's lacking some sort of element of team building strategy-ish kind of thing. Something that really sells it as a unique thing. That's missing for me right now, personally. I will say, I do like the intro skill. They're called ambush skills in this game. When you swap into a character, they have, like, a unique animation that they do and a unique skill. So, like, different characters can be different things. You can literally have a quick swap character that you never attack or anything else on. You just swap them in, they do their ambush skill, and you swap into somebody else. I think the turrets are interesting. I just think that the combat isn't deep enough yet. It's very wide, but it's kind of shallow. I think, oven-wise, I think that this city is going to get old really quickly. I think it's a really good hub world, but if they only make you explore a city, and just the one city, even though it's to scale, this is going to get real old real quick. So I think the thing I'd want to see in the second beta is, like, storybook worlds, alternate worlds, more varied terrain, that kind of thing. But again, we haven't done the second half of the story. Maybe it's in there. I don't know. Genuinely, I haven't even looked at spoilers or other playthroughs, which I usually do at this point, because I'm not very patient. I want to know. They've got some optimization stuff to do, I think, in terms of, like, rendering. And I think they need to add more interactions with the world besides the stock market. There needs to be puzzles and stuff like that, you know what I mean? But I think there's usually only 2 betas in games that come from China. And I think it's because when you apply for a game license, they expire after a certain amount of time. And so you kind of have to do your betas within that time limit, or else you're kind of screwed. So most of the time, like, if you get to the second beta and your game still isn't done, either you have to reapply for a game license to go for your next beta, or you just have to launch and hope for the best. So, do you think the lore has potential to be, like, really, really deep and leaders of, and I think you mean lots of room for analyses, like HSR 830.0 tapping into the vast Ankunft? I don't know that word, I'm sorry, of Greek philosophical concepts with its twist. That treads into a territory I don't think I want to get into right now, because I might go on a rant. I think the lore will be deep enough. From what I've seen, I tried to look into some of these characters here. Like, I was trying to figure out if all of the characters were going to be storybook characters, and I think they might be. either storybook characters, mythological figures, heroes of legends, that kind of stuff. And I think from that angle, there will be some fun, not necessarily theorizing to do, but like deep lore, real world inspiration kind of stuff to analyze. But for me, it's a little too early to look at this and say there's going to be deep lore, right? We're just getting into a surface level thing. We know there's like maybe a shadowy organization responsible for the killing of a queen. We know there's a queen. We know there's a kingdom. We know we were exiled from a kingdom. There's murder mysteries, but like we don't really know much about the world at large. So like it's really difficult to assess it at this point. I think there's good potential for it, but that's about it. That's all I can say, really. Also, I don't know the history of this company. I don't know what other works they've done. I didn't look into it, so, or if they've done any at all. They could be like Do It Night Abyss and just have it be like their first game. I don't know that. I didn't look. I probably should have, but I didn't. So I don't know what their history is. That's usually a pretty good indicator of like what you might be able to expect, like minimum. But anyway, I'm gonna. Can you rank this next to other upcoming games? The ranking would be too subjective. Like way too subjective. Personally, I am most interested in Arknight's Enfield. I played the second closed beta and I really loved it. So I think that's getting added into my rotation and I will probably swap a game out for it. Because I really liked it, but I think this one's probably like rank 2 or 3, with Enfield being 1 right now for me, as far as upcoming games go. But that's probably about it. Did you see the last time that they were Spanish? I thought they were Spanish because like a lot of the materials they gave me were in Spanish. I don't know if that was just because those were the materials they had on hand, but like it looks like most of the in-game text is in Chinese and stuff, like originally. So I'm assuming it's I didn't look it up. I did not look it up. Anyway, I want to start the story. More questions later.
This is
questions
it.
later.
The corner clinic. My old friend runs this establishment.
We need to figure out who killed Grimm.
We're running forensics at a clinic. I thought they were for those needing a physician.
And my good friend is indeed a physician. Anatomy is her specialty. She's also incredibly well read and knows how to make the dead talk.
Will she help?
We've known each other since we were children and our friendship runs deep. She never fails to help me whenever I ask. Before I forget, I can also ask her to replace your bandages and dressing.
Oh dear. That's very kind of you, Master Detective, but I can take care of this minor inconvenience on my own. I tend to become quite anxious at clinics. Visiting a physician gives me a rather uncomfortable vibe. I'm afraid I must take my leave. Good luck with your friend. I shall await you at the office.
So she doesn't like doctors, huh? Is it because you're
She's
covered in
visiting
burns?
doctors. Why is that? Well, the important thing right now is to get information out of the remains. Time to enter the clinic.
So, mortician.
The
Alrighty.
place seems well cleaned and smells of disinfectants.
My experience will help me.
Castor oil, chloroform, benzodiazepines. Half of the vials are empty.
Oh, interesting. I didn't expect it to go into a little cutscene.
Don't touch anything.
Plague Doctor!
Better find yourself a seat.
Sorry, I can't hear you clearly.
Sit.
Ship?
I said don't touch my things and find yourself a seat. 3 long years. You finally found your way back.
I'm
Oh.
working on a case, and
Oh.
I know you're good
Oh.
at dissecting corpses for forensics.
Looks like the timing on
I
that
hope
dialogue
you can run
isn't
your
right.
observations on a peculiar specimen of mine and tell me what it's all about.
Incredible way to greet someone after disappearing for 3 years. Didn't expect the first line to be I'm working on a case. I'm actually curious now. Do you still remember my name?
I'm gonna call her this one.
Sweet Doc Firtho, please help investigate these remains for me.
Playing coy won't work with me. Your first line should be, "It's been quite a while, Firtho."
I've been trying to figure out the
This
origin
case
of her
is
name.
important. I need your help to examine these remains.
Not a chance. Who do you think I am? You ghost me for 3 years, then you turn up with a corpse and ask me to run forensics. You didn't even bother with a proper greeting.
Where is our corpse? Is it in our pocket, like for real?
Oh. Well, how are you faring these days?
Someone stole my cargo.
Yes?
A mob of gangsters stole my cargo. Retrieve the goods, and I might consider working on the body you brought in.
What sort of cargo is it?
You owe me an answer. Yes or no?
I mean, yes.
Certainly. I'll go look for it.
The gangsters usually loiter around the Day Fairway intersection. Look around the place for clues of their activities.
Intersection. Got it.
City gangs grew in size these past years. Be careful. Don't let them bring you to my place in a body bag.
Don't worry. I can still handle a few hooligans. According to Firtho, traces of gang activities can be found at the intersection.
Okay, I need my other hand, buddy. I can't keep, okay. No butt scratches, I need this hand. Can I talk to you some more? Hello, Firtho. You are not talkable. Okay. You are clippable, though. I wish to become Firtho! We are one. We are one! One. Oh, that's awkward. Never mind. Never mind. Alright, let's go. Oh, I did the thing again. No, it's this one for dashing. I'm not gonna just go this way. I'm sorry, Levi. Letty, do you need to go outside? Is that your problem, honey? Whee! I found that the horse does jump sometimes. I just can't get him to consistently jump.
What's she doing?
Someone jacked the cargo from the doctor of the corner clinic. You seen any signs of it?
The corner clinic?
Now that's odd.
Do you want? Is it possible she's like a Sweeney Todd thing? I did it again! Oh my god, you can tell what game I've been playing.
What's your business?
Dr. Firtho misses her cargo. Heard anything about that?
Firtho? No, please, don't take me in.
Their reactions are rather unexpected.
I'll give
There's
him.
another gangster over there.
I will give him butt scritches with my foot. Yeah, that's what we call multitasking.
Why are you looking at me funny?
A doctor's cargo hat.
He looks so unhappy.
Doctor? No! No!
Firtho seems to have garnered quite a reputation.
How does she
I'll
keep
follow
her
this
clinic
one
open?
to locate the gang's gathering place.
No, these are all
What the hell
different
do you
guys.
want?
Cargo from the corner clinic. Did your boys take it?
Wait, that bird-beak coroner hired you.
Maybe. And so what?
Keep steady, lads. We have the numbers. Pile on this lousy lout.
Out of my way!
I'm stuck! Okay, there we go.
I'll take care of this. Reset the board.
It does make sense that a raven would be friends with a, bird-masked plague doctor.
Stop! Now it's my shit.
Did I? Oh, he's still running.
Fools belong in hell.
I do like her ultimate. It's
The
fun.
cargo's yours. Just take it and leave us.
Got a question for you. You stole Firtho's cargo, yet you're so afraid of her. Why?
Their powers come from. Hold on,
Firtho
I'll
the
explain in
coroner.
a second. After
She
this
visits this
scene.
place every night and nabs one of us for a human experiments.
Ooh, fun!
Everyone who came back was a screaming wreck. Their nightmares wouldn't end. I run a respectful organisation and serve as a proud representative of these parts. So I saw an opportunity and jacked her stuff. All we wanted to do was teach her a lesson. Now we know we stepped on the wrong toes. We'll never touch her property again.
Human experiments. Regardless, I have the cargo. Time to ask
So
Firtho to help me
unconcerned.
examine the remains.
Okay, so in this universe world game thing, people get their powers from reactors.
Let's update the ledgers.
So if you look right here on the back of the detective here, see that purple thing? That's a reactor. So this reactor allows them to manipulate some kind of energy that I haven't looked too deep into as of yet. I think he's got a couple of reactors, like the yellow things I think count as reactors. I'm not sure about Cinderella. I think she might have like a special case, which is part of the reason why she's like this, you know. Look, there's a squash blossom, I'm telling you. Squash blossom! Right there on her neck. Just like Ashley. Do you have a reactor? I don't know. I don't know if, that's probably a reactor there on his back. The glowing lady thing. But it also lets you like manipulate, whatchamacallums, the silver 4G thing. I've forgotten the word for it. Anyway, they're reactors. I guess you can think of them like visions. It's close enough in a soft magic system. Oh, can I make a shortcut? Is there a box nearby I can do this with? Yes, there is. I figured out how to do this off stream. I was solving some puzzles so I could rank up so I could unlock this story. Alright. I unlocked the gate. Hooray! That'll make things a lot easier. Silvarium. Yeah. Well, still, a lot of their stuff seems to be based on... Oh, I did it again. A lot of their magic and stuff seems to be based on metals, and to some degree, some alchemical stuff. So I'm sure silver isn't the only metal. Like, one of the side quests was doing a personality quiz, which was like, which metal are you? And everyone had different, like, ferric indexes and whatnot. Ferric being, like, iron. So, you know. Oh, right. Okay, here we go.
Back so soon. Now that's efficient.
There's more rooms. Man, I wish my doctor's office looked cool like this. We've downgraded so far. Although, I would be grateful if my examination room didn't look like this. You know, like that seems a bit... Can we turn some lights on? Please?
I have the things you want.
Excellent. Haven't lost your touch, it seems.
So, can we start examining the remains? Alright, let me start over. Firtho, for the sake of our friendship, do me a favour and examine the remains for me.
Of course. Now you're finally learning
I don't
how to
know about any
behave.
upcoming characters.
I've already performed
Except
the
one.
forensics on the remains.
Already? I knew you'd help.
The conditions of this corpse you brought in are simply terrible. It's not even intact. First things first, the remains are severely carbonized, with some bones showing signs of calcination. It's almost impossible to identify the victim.
Yeah, so it's not GRIMM.
Can you identify the victim's gender?
From the pelvic measurements, the victim is male.
How old is he?
From the pubic symphysis, the victim is at least 30 years old.
How old is
I
GRIMM?
found something that might interest you. The cause of death.
We found obvious signs of arson at the crime scene. I suppose you found something else about how he died.
Is
From
GRIMM
the
30?
remains, it's difficult to determine the exact cause of death. However, no carbon particles have been found in the victim's respiratory tract. There are also no signs of contortion of the limbs.
Oh, so he was killed
This
before
means
arson.
that the
Cool.
deceased had no signs of life when the fire started.
You're telling me that
I
he
mean,
was
I
already
could
a
buy
corpse before
28
he
for
was
GRIMM,
burned?
but 30?
Correct. So to wrap it all up, the deceased was around 30. Though we do not know how he died, burning is definitely not on the list.
A man in his 30s. The gender is right, but Grimm is younger than that.
Yeah, see?
And it wasn't the fire that killed them.
Don't worry, my conclusions should be watertight, unless the Royal Academy and the centuries of knowledge it accrued have all been mistaken.
I have faith in your judgment. The rest is detective work.
By the way, I found a strange gooey substance on the remains. It contains no human tissue, so I know it's not human in origin.
A gooey substance with no human tissue. I found something similar at the crime scene. Can we figure out its purpose or use?
It needs to be identified with a professional laboratory bench. Unfortunately, this humble clinic of mine is not furnished for this task.
I remember Alf cleaning out the lab bench in the detective's office. Thank you. I have something that should work at my office. I'll head there now.
Hold on. Take this.
What is this?
It's in the cargo you retrieved from the gangs. A stabilizer for people like you. It will help soothe the mood and mind, as well as suppress recurring nightmares.
Great. We're
I
going to be on
concocted this
drugs.
particular blend for you.
Excellent.
Did I ever mention about my nightmares?
I'm a doctor. There are things that I can see without the patient telling me. The pallor of your face is obvious enough.
Much appreciated, then. By the way, the gangsters told me that you were experimenting on them. What exactly is going on?
Human experiments? I don't have time for running those. Many of them were ridden with skin rashes, infected by a highly contagious strain of varicella. And I happen to be working on a new form of medicinal treatment with the Academy. A preparation of an attenuated form of the source pathogen. It will help the user avoid further infections.
Hold on just a second.
Unfortunately, the only route of administration is via subcutaneous injection. Hence, I had to get hold of a few, restrain them to the bed, and inject them. The good news is that the recent batch proved its worth with an 80% success rate. The spread of the disease has been contained.
Oh, is that so? They do not understand the treatment methods you employ. Such actions may cause them to fear you.
Why fear me? I'm the one helping them avoid the infectious rash. But you just reminded me how convenient it was to find them. I have some new medicines, and I do intend to invite them over to run a few human subject clinical trials.
And they happen to be a most agreeable lot. You will succeed. Now, if I may, I'm taking my leave for my office. The results of the forensics contradict the witness testimonies. If the witness did not lie, then there is only one possibility.
So, my
I should use my lab bench to
understanding...
verify my hypothesis.
My understanding, and I could be wrong on this, I read Firtho's like little bio that they have, because I don't have her on this account. yet. So maybe we can read her bio later. But I think that heart on her back is actually keeping her alive. Like it's like an external artificial heart. I'm pretty sure. Anyway, 1 second. All right, we'll play this now. My babies love the snow, it's falling down. Okay. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's what it is. I wonder... See, I don't have her, so I don't know if... I don't think I have like a... Yeah, I don't have like a glossary or anything just yet, so I don't think I can look it up unless I have her on my account. So I'm gonna assume we're gonna get her, and when we do, we can check her bio. Someone remind me if we get her.
Firtho built this table herself. It's specifically designed for autopsies. She's extremely passionate about her field of expertise. Medicine that should be kept away from the patients. This would be Firtho's secret stash.
Okay, hold on. Is that a heart in that jar? And also a skull and crossbones on that bottle? Okay, we're leaving. We're leaving. She's playable? She should be. I'm pretty sure she is. Oh! Well then! Okay. That's funny. Oops. Okay, hold on. I'll put her in my party right after this.
Master Detective! Master Detective, I finally found you! I tried visiting Chief Inspector Lauren, but he wasn't at the constabulary. So I went to the detective's office to look for you, but you weren't there either.
Looking for me? Tell me, what's happening?
There's someone I know. His name is GRIMM. He's a journalist around my age. Brown cap, straw-coloured hair, short. A well-connected person told me that we got another murder in the city. The victim happens to be GRIMM.
Well...
Oh, thank goodness. I knew that cunning dodger wouldn't die so easily. He still owes me plenty of tips. But there's one thing I really care about. Just yesterday, GRIMM secretly told me that he was investigating a super important case on his own. He even found the key evidence.
Key evidence?
He didn't tell me what it was. But just
No, he's not dead again.
He
This
told me
kid
that
just
he hid
heard
it
about
in
him
the
dying.
safest and most unthinkable places. Master Detective, this is all I know. I hope this tidbit can help you out.
Titbit?
If you find the truth,
Titbit?
please get it published in the papers.
Titbit?
Grimm's on a criminal case. Now that's an unexpected finding.
Wait,
But this also proves my approach to be
I thought it was
correct.
tidbit.
I just need one more piece of the puzzle.
Is titbit a real thing? Is that like the British version of tidbit? Or did they spell it wrong? Genuinely. Okay, we're supposed to look at the thing. Hold on. We gotta look at Firtho.
Not everyone's like you.
I don't know if we're gonna use her though because I don't have any level up materials.
Death, on the other hand, has been a truer friend.
I don't know if I have any no. Okay, I'm pretty sure there is a way to look at her bio. Or not.
Explosion?
Life has not been kind to me. Death, on the other hand, has been a truer friend.
Okay, well, I saw her. I wonder if the bio's on the website. Hold on. 1 second. I want to look something up really quick because I read this. And I know it's an official source. I just can't remember exactly what it said. Hold on. Or not. Oh yeah, okay. So due to her congenital illness, Firtho must wear a life-sustaining device at all times. She wants no pity and hates being a burden in the endless rhythm of death. Life is the only coincidence along the way. Okay, so yeah, that is a life-sustaining device on her back. Like, that is something she needs. I would like to use her, but I don't, like, genuinely, she's got, like, I mean, I'll level her. But, anyway. Okay, cool. That's really far away. Oh, I did the thing again. Stop doing the thing!
Let's go!
Alright. I would warp, except that what I've found is there aren't that many warp points. So I'm just gonna ride horsey. So she's like Heartman. I don't know if that's a thing. My chat is bullying you, Jibby. Good, they're learning. I'm so proud of you all. Oh, I'm stuck. I'm stuck. I'm stuck. Okay. Yep. Right. Okay. The flying is a little inconsistent at times. Like the collisions, they're a bit questionable. Oh. Horses in general in games are a little difficult to control, I find. I tend not to use them much, but I'm trying to use this one because it is my form of fast travel for the most part. Although, could I have just warped here? I don't know. Whoa. Well, alright then. It was a very strange series of events. I'm not sure what happened. Why is everything all sparkly? A letter from the landlord. To Miss Fungi. I didn't get to read any of that. Okay. Well. Lauren's here.
I didn't expect him to launch a sudden brutish strike from the left,
Whoa!
but the detective predicted that and parried it.
That's awesome!
All it took was a simple slash from the detective to throw Rex off his balance. The detective then followed with a flurry of rapid attacks.
Chief Inspector, sounds as though you just watched from the sides. It feels quite unfair, don't you think?
Really? Well, I think I was helping plenty by not getting in the way.
You all seem to be enjoying your discussion.
You're back, Master! Everyone's here!
Our superintendent has his hands full looking for the werewolves, so I came here to get myself updated about your investigation. And I must add, nice fight.
Master Detective, did you get any key information from the body?
Hold on, there's one more step.
Lauren's great.
Time to use the newly cleaned lab bench.
So I did a side quest off stream that was like basically Lauren's backstory. Well, not really his backstory, but like a little insight into his backstory. And I guess he used to be a street punk called Silverfist. And now he's a police officer. So that's fun. All right.
Grey, no obvious odor, and rather thick.
So we're looking at the
contents,
gooey substance that has no
mud,
human
and
material
water.
in it.
I see. A flame retardant. It can absorb heat and prevent fires from spreading.
Flamery. What does it mean? Whoa! Don't touch that, Master! You'll get burned!
Flame retardant.
I'm not burned. The vaporizing water brings off the heat to protect the skin underneath. The truth behind the incident is slowly revealing itself.
Ooh, weird level balancing. That's okay. All right. Let us see les clues. Special substance. Flame retardant.
Have been found at the scene. The two of GRIMM is around Pixie's age. The autopsy revealed the person was already dead before the fire. This contradicts the witness testimonies.
Grimm's death is suspicious. Yeah, no kidding. Oh, we gotta go to the Silver Palace? Let's do it, let's do it, let's do it. Or maybe not. Oh, we are! We're going to the palace! Yay! Silver Palace time! The slipper. The high-heeled shoe. I forgot about that. That was a thing. We did find a shoe. Oh. That's cool. Alright. Cool. So the Royal Palace is... So the Silver Palace is the Mind Palace, I think. Because it is silver and also a palace.
Late afternoon, dusk, GRIMM and a lady arrived here at an appointed time. The two concocted a plan to fake someone's death.
A fake death? Are you saying that GRIMM didn't die? But we have a witness who saw it happen.
Exactly. How could the death be faked?
Yeah, so, okay, so the reason why I'm calling the Mind Palace the Silver Palace is not just because it's silver and in the mine, but in one of the trailers, like the very first big trailer that they put out, they called the detective the author, right? So to call a Mind Palace the place where ideas are born from, the Silver Palace that the game is named after, just makes sense to me. Will we also probably have a Silver Palace for Silvernia? Silvernia? That one. Silvernia. The name of this city. Leave me alone.
The flame retardant can insulate the user against heat. Rubbing it on the body protects it from burns.
Okay. You're just a mysterious faceless lady. I see. So you're just a lady that I'm imagining. You're not actually referencing a real person. I see. Okay.
Alcohol is the most easily acquired flammable material.
True. Well, liquids.
Using
Yes.
a flame-type reactor will leave some silverium residue.
Does flame retardant actually work like that? Kind of. It snuffs. It deprives flames of oxygen, and deprives flames of oxygen, and it also acts as like a barrier between flame and its fuel source. So yes, but it depends on the type of flame retardant and how it's applied.
GRIMM places his camera and hat down by the side, and then applies the flame retardant on his entire body.
But does that mean we
His
didn't actually
companion
have his
prepares
body?
the fuel and ignition.
What happened to the
device.
real body then?
Whoa, is he gonna get burnt?
I'm so confused. Where's his body?
Before that happened, they must... The witness who saw Grimm in flames is a nearby resident. According to his testimonies, he would water the flowers every afternoon at that time.
But surely it still gets hot, so you get burns right on your skin,
They found
even if
this
you don't
resident's
burn per se.
schedule, then
Depends
ignited
on
the
how
fire
long you're
once it
exposed
showed
to it
up.
for. So here's the thing.
As
I don't
they
know if you've ever done
expected,
this.
The witness burned the scene into his memory before running away in fear.
But
So we have a witness
Hold on.
claiming that Grimm was burned to death. Then who was the body we found in the alley if it was a fake death?
So, I don't know if you guys have ever done this, but if you have a candle, like a regular candle, you can take your fingers and you can just pinch the candle and put the flame out. And it doesn't hurt at all. What will hurt is leaving your fingers pinched against the wick because the heat is still there. The flames themselves, you're not actually in contact with them long enough for them to really burn you. And if you lick your fingers just with a little bit of water, a little bit of spit, like you'll sizzle that wick out so fast, like you won't feel anything. So flame retardant kind of works on a similar concept in the sense of like, it can protect you from certain types of fire. Because fire can vary greatly in terms of its, how hot it gets based on what causes it. So, like if you've ever seen people set themselves on fire for like stunt scenes and stuff, they're actually using a very specific kind of fire, or like they're igniting the fire in a very specific way is probably a better way to put it. That way the fire is not as hot as a fire that would like cover you in 3rd-degree burns. Still very dangerous, can still hurt you if anything goes wrong with like the barrier between your skin and the flames, but you can do it. I don't recommend it. It's for trained professionals only. I got the dogs in.
Oh, you're all wet. Oh, my little frosted snowflake. Hi, Finn.
Yes, you're a good girl.
She's a little glittery.
Sparkly little bedazzled girl. Yeah, what a sweetie pie. Okay, I can't pet both of you right now. I'm sorry. Anyway. Is it still snowing? It's gonna snow for like another day. Yeah. Grimm, you psycho. Why did you do that?
We found an extremely carbonized body at the scene. Forensics revealed him to be a male of at least 30 years of age.
At least 30. Grimm wasn't that old from what I remember.
Additionally, forensics also discovered that the male was already dead before the fire began. The carbonization of the corpse perfectly obscured his true identity.
Good boy. Good boy.
Therefore, the body isn't Grimm, but a prop that Grimm and his companion prepared.
That means
there's
if
still
we
a dead
fail
man.
to examine the corpse thoroughly, we'll never find them.
Where did you get a dead man from?
No. This was the time when an accident happened.
Oh, are you kidding me? This is still a crime. This is still... Grimm, you're still going to jail.
Though people barely enter the alleyways of the high piers, the behavior of street punks is hard to predict.
Okay, but did you know that corpse abuse is a real thing you can be, like,
Now, this
accused and
discomfort
tried
came
for?
pretty quickly. Thankfully, I have
Real
Firtho
thing.
stabilizers. A street punkster heard something. He entered the alleyway to see what happened.
And anyone walking in would definitely see something rather interesting.
That's correct. They had already set up a perfect witness to see
But is
Grimm
it
covered
illegal in
flames.
Silvernia? Touche.
If this unwanted witness saw Grimm moving around after his supposed death, everything they did would be a waste of time. To protect Grimm from being discovered, his
I have a cool
companion
plan for when I
immediately-
die.
took Grimm by
Probably.
the hand and fled the scene. But they were not far away enough from the Ally entrance. There is a chance that they could be recognized by the trespassing punk during their escape. She hid Grimm in a nearby dustbin or crate. But it would take time for Grimm to hide, and there is still a risk of being recognized. It was an emergency. Grimm's companion didn't hesitate and charged at the street punk, using herself to block his view and giving Grimm a chance to slip away from
I
the
don't
other side.
remember if, like, the specifics of what happened last time. But I guess if the shoe belonged to the noblewoman, having her charge at the punk makes sense.
The punkster did not expect a lady to act in such a manner. He was completely occupied by the lady and began to fight.
This is cool that you can actually, like, just see the
That makes total
crime
sense.
like this.
No one
This
saw
is
Grimm
neat.
again after this incident, and that's how Grimm died.
Nobody found out about the fake death, but the companion paid the price. During the scuffle, she lost a shoe.
That's wild. That's actually really cool. It's an interesting twist on Cinderella, right? Because, like, I wonder if this happens at midnight. And maybe... I don't know. This is neat. They've got a lot of good bones for how they could do detective things. Like detective mini games and deductions and formulate interesting mysteries by twisting around the details of fairy tales and legends and stuff like that.
Incredible. You described it as if we were right there at the scene. This is how the legendary detective works.
Can't believe Grimm faked his death right under our noses. He staged a very complicated show. I don't understand why he did all this.
A fake death? What is the fake death meant for?
Fraud?
No, it aims to convince others of your death.
Indeed, faking one's death becomes an option only when death becomes a necessity. During that noonday, Grimm mentioned he was investigating a big story. Pixie also mentioned something similar afterwards. Maybe he crossed a powerful force that proved too big for him to handle.
Either that or he's trying to lure them out of hiding.
Otherwise, he wouldn't need to go through all this trouble and fake his own death. A train ticket out of town would have sufficed.
Are you saying that he's being hunted?
That is a possibility.
Then whose body is it? If it wasn't Grimm, we
What
still
comes
have
after
a murder
Cinderella?
on our
Oh, we'll
hands.
find out.
Someone got burned to cinders. Did Grimm kill a man and use the victim's body, all to fake his own death so that he could escape?
We are still unable to discern the identity of the deceased.
Then what about the rich lady? Who is she? If she's an accomplice to Grimm's fake death, she definitely knows something.
Unfortunately, we know very little about this lady as well. The only thing we can discern is her height, based on the size of her shoe. A person's height is about 7 times the length of their feet. Based on the size, she is slightly shorter
New
than
knowledge
her-
acquired! Okay, is it weird that I
Share the
kind of
same
want to
height.
figure out if that's true?
Our
I want to figure if
investigation
that's
has
true
once
after this.
again
Hold on.
run
I'm
into
going to
the
measure
fog
my
of the
foot.
unknown.
Not yet. We have one more clue.
I'm going to measure my foot because I know how tall I am. But after this.
Pixie told me that Grimm hid his key evidence in the safest place.
The safest place? Was he talking about his home?
The home of someone on a bounty list isn't exactly safe. But the home of a supposed enemy might be another thing.
You mean the detective's office?
If memory serves, Grimm visited here yesterday. Alf was the one who chased him out.
So did
Right,
Red
I
Rose
defended
help
the detective's
Grimm?
office.
He was poking around the kitchen area.
It's
Let's
not
take a
her
look.
shoe, is it?
I can see that someone has searched the cabinets. I thought it was Alf, but perhaps it was someone else. Grimm's
Okay, but wait,
appearance
I
in
need-
the
I
office
need
was
a
no
ruler.
mere coincidence.
Hold on, I want a ruler. My measuring tape is outside. I know that, but I don't want to go get it. But I have a a ruler. Conveniently stashed right here from when I was using it. Okay, I'ma find out. I wonder where they measure from. Okay, so let's say conservatively, because I don't know where they're measuring from. Let's find out if this is accurate. Oops, what did she say? 7 times? Okay, let's see. Oh my god, it is accurate! Wait, that's
You still working,
crazy!
Yeah, I was pretty late. Well, I got used to working all night.
Okay.
And sleeping all day.
I mean, I don't know how accurate it is, like, consistent-wise, but that is, like, literally 100% spot on for me. Measuring my foot, it's about 9.5 inches. By 7 is 66.5. By 12 is 5.5, which is my height. I am very average height, which is kind of wild. It's like, it's 5.54, which is, I think about right. Yeah, about right. Crazy. Might be an averages thing. Yeah, I know, like, there's also, like, a thing where, like, your forearm is supposed to be the same length as your foot or something like that, too. Depending on, like, how proportionate you are. But it also depends on, like, where you're measuring from. Like, that does apply to me. My forearm is 9.5 as well. So it is the same length as my foot. Which feels really weird. And then that's also supposed to be, like, the same length as your face or something. I don't know, something like that. And meter, please? I'm sorry, I'm American. I don't speak meter. I'm not converting that. I'm sorry.
A cabinet with a mouldy smell. This isn't it.
It's like 164.6, something around that way.
Beneath the hot fluorescent tube. Not here. Empty storage boxes. Not here. With Grimm's personality in mind, where would he hide it? The most dangerous place is also the safest place.
In my flower pots?
Found it.
Why
Grimm's notebook.
would he put it... Why is this the most dangerous place? I don't understand. Oh. Wow,
What's
he even
this?
got a name.
Isn't it from the Nameless
at him
Ashes
go.
case?
We have a name now.
Okay, please don't level gate me. I will be very sad if it level gates me here. Okay, doesn't seem like it's going to. I think we're still good. I think we can still continue. Ooh, Alf's around. Let's talk to Elf. She has nothing to say.
Time to play the detective.
Don't remember buying a notebook like this one. Oh, it's Alf's notebook. She's trying so hard. Aww. Orchids are poisonous to cats. Yeah. Is it because it's in plain sight? I wonder if it's because Ashley is part of the investigation.
A quick word, if you please.
Enemies. You reap what you sow.
Where did the rest of you come from?
Timing is everything. Distraction.
I don't even know how many people that was. They just got a materialized out of nowhere. What do you say? I don't. Oh, that's not interesting. Okay. Understood. Cinders to ashes, Cinderella's Ashley. Listen. I'll be surprised if it isn't, because I want you to look at something here. So on her model, do you see that flower on her collarbone? You see it? That is a squash blossom. Ashley wears 2 squash blossoms in her outfit. Also, they have the same voice actor. Also, I'm pretty sure that the original name for Cinderella, like in the original telling of the tale, was like Ashputin or something like that. I'm probably saying it very wrong. My understanding is that it's German. I think it's German, and no one should expect me to say German words correctly. Not for lack of trying, I'm just... It's a high bar for me to cross. Okay, I just want to make sure that the right thing was going here. Yeah, I did the thing again. Ash Maiden, yeah. We all said it before and you never read us. I've said it once already too, but like not everyone was here at the very start, little bird. I'm still gonna take my standard team because I think how do I take this off? Do I just... Nope. Oh. Okay, that's how. I like this one. Because I'm not very good. No. What? Why did you put that on here? No. Off. This one. That one. Okay, there we go. We're good. Okay. So there's that. We've got the reactors. Yeah. Okay. I think that's good. Putel, that one, yes. Either way, cinders, ashes, all kind of the same sort of dealio. Wait, why are we fighting things again? Ow. I haven't remembered how to parry yet. So this could be fun.
Youthful folly!
I'll take care of this.
Where'd he go? Oh dear. Ouch. You guys think I'm under-leveled for this?
Tore open an old wound.
I might be under-leveled for this. But I'm also a little confused about why we're doing this. Ow. Did it say?
Stay sharp.
Now it's my shit. Oh, missed. That was a bluff. Catch your breath.
Enemies.
Nevermore.
Dear.
Your death is insignificant.
You owe me a cocktail shaker.
Timing is everything.
You'll never learn, rat!
Okay. I think we got it, but I still don't know why we were doing it. I might need to level my things, but the problem is I don't have any leveling materials because I haven't had time to really like
Lies in the
play.
hands of the one holding the gun.
So now I'm a little confused because I thought that was like the next part of the thing. But is that the end of the story? Is that all there is to it? Wait, are we done? No. They're not gonna leave it there, are they? Really? Really? That's all? Man. So, this was the thing I did off screen, was Lauren's troubles. Wow, this might be a short stream, I guess. Where you found out he was Silver Fist. An old boxing glove. It was fun. Is the survey available? Good question. It's not gonna be sent to me in-game mail, is it? Oh. I guess so. I guess I didn't realize I had all of these in here too. Okay. Well, I expected them to like notify me that there was mail. I didn't realize there was even mail in here. Okay. Well, I did not check mail. Well, usually there's a notification. There's no notification. I'm so used to the putting like a little annoying dot that never goes away. Okay. Well, I mean, I guess they can't tell you the ending of the mystery in the beta. But, you know, let's, I guess we'll just go and maybe do a little bit of like, we can't end it here. My goal was to finish the story, but not like that. I thought we had like another 2 hours or so to go. Didn't realize we were so close. Oops. Didn't realize we were so close. Well, I guess if there's anything you like to see, we're open to requests now. We got the time. One is by getting 50%, 2 in-depth surveys for you to unlock. One is by getting 50% exploration in 2 areas, and one is for finishing Abyss level 7. Yeah, no, I'm not doing that. There's no time to do that. Like, it would take so much stamina. Play every character. I don't think I can, because I can't even get every character, because there was one day I forgot. So the way that they do the logins, the reset was odd and happened like in the evening, so I missed a day and I didn't get enough of the currency to get Cynthia. So I don't even have Cynthia, who's like the other playable character I know I can get. Abyss level 7 you can reach with a level 30 character. Dude, I have a level 20 character, that's it. When I say I haven't had time to like really sit down and play this game, I mean it. I have not. I've been really busy playing another game that I've had to collect a lot more footage for another thing I'm working on. That's what happens when people like, when they schedule these things to happen like concurrently, you know. But we can mess around with the characters I do have. I've played Alf already.
What's broken has been mended.
So I definitely think there's Firtho to play with, but like this is it. This is all I have.
Life has not been kind to me.
There's not
Death, on the other hand,
they don't really have
has been a
many
true
other
friend.
options. So we can pop Firtho
I
in the
have
party.
many means to settle them down.
I love the back of her coat because that looks like a super cool blood splatter. But it's just the design. And also her stockings. Her stockings are super cool. Firtho's fun. Oops. I have access to level 30 now by killing the werewolf. You increase the world level. That's not good! Firtho's level 4! Were you not paying attention? Listen, my
Life has
characters
not been kind to
are
me.
not
Let's
levels.
keep those brats
We
in check.
can't
Let's cut to the
do.
chase before you assign.
Let's keep those brats in check. and
We
then we'll-
can't
Let's
do
cut to the
the
chase before you
thingy.
silence
Like,
for
that's
good.
not happening. That's not happening. Absolutely not happening. I'm not doing the Abyss. Oh, I need to stop doing that. How is the gameplay? Like, how does the exploration compare to other games like Genshin? You can't compare this game to Genshin. And I don't recommend that you do. I think that's a mistake to do that. Because, like, you'll set yourself up for, like,
I'll take care of it.
disappointment on way too many levels.
Go and take a break.
That's not what this game is. Firtho's fun. What the hell? I might be a healer, but... So she just heals when she attacks. That's cool.
Timing is everything. Distraction.
That's neat. I like that. What is that weapon? What weapon? Oh, you mean Firtho's weapon? I don't know. We gotta get her in battle to look at it. It looks like a meat cleaver kind of thing. This is not a Genshin style game. Like, if what you're looking for is an open world style game with like endless exploration, I don't think this is the game yet. Like, what we have here is a single city, and the city is to scale, and it's beautiful. Like, don't get me wrong, but also, like, it's a single city. There's a limit to what you can do in a single city. So, like, I would expect that, you know, when they do the next beta, they'll probably add another area to explore, and we'll be able to gauge how that exploration goes when compared to games like Genshin. But we can't do that yet. I wanted to go to the church. Why? Because, like, yeah, like, we can't even go to this church. Like, it's not even done being rendered. You can tell. Like, it doesn't have any of the textures that you would expect it to have. A bone saw! Yeah! Bone saw! Yeah. Is most of the gameplay combat? I mean,
far less annoying.
there is exploration. It's just not Genshin style because it's just a city right now. Like, it's literally just a city. And yes, you have a horse that can fly and you can go on top of buildings and stuff, but like, you can't even jump, right? Like, there's no jump button. You can't jump. You can kind of parkour. Like, you go around these sorts of things, you can jump over them. but like you can't just jump, right? So when you're navigating the city, like you have to navigate it like a normal person who can use a grappling hook and has these floaty devices, right? So if I want to get up here, I can, but like, and I can
Remember
find
to
stuff.
disinfect them.
It's just that, like, you know, then that's all I can do. I can't continue climbing upwards. I don't have that ability. Any bosses in the world? Not in the first beta that I've found. But they do, like, there are combat challenges. I would say it's definitely trying to be more of, like, an interactive visual novel with some exploration, but it does seem like they want to focus a little bit more on combat and story specifically. Like, exploration is part of it, but like, the way it's structured currently, I don't feel like we're gonna get like Wuthering Waves or Genshin style open world exploration. It just doesn't feel that way to me. There aren't enough puzzles. I mean, I think a lot of this game is going to be like, they're going to start introducing little mysteries that you can solve, right? They're going to do probably a lot more little mini games and things like that. I feel like that's more the direction they'll go. There's just aren't many puzzles. And I feel like if they really wanted to test the open world aspect of this game, they would have put more puzzles out here. It's more like HSR. Yeah. I think that's fair. I think that's fair. Yeah. What are my thoughts on the story? I mean, it's hard to say because we just got to the end of the story that they have available and it wasn't an end of the story. You know what I mean? So I don't really know how to say whether or not I like the story. I think it has good bones. So far, I think it's pretty well written. Overall, you know? Like, the writing's pretty tight. There's not a lot of unnecessary dialogue. The characters so far are pretty interesting. I think, like, this kind of thing with the evidence collecting is a little... It's not... I don't feel like this sort of evidence collecting feels super satisfying. So I kind of hope they overhaul that a bit or refine it a little bit more. But I think it has good potential. I just feel like it's going to be a visual novel with combat. It's not going to be a game of discovery, you know? Like Genshin and Wuthering Waves to a degree. I think it's more Genshin's thing than Wu was, but when you wander around the world, you just discover things, right? I feel like it's gonna be less that in this game. I think it is gonna be a bit more HSR-esque in that respect. Combat visual novel, yeah, I think so. Victor Densa, thank you for the super. What do you enjoy most from the beta, and what do you think can be improved on, and what fairy tale do you want to see? Ooh, so it's not just fairy tales. Like they're doing way more than just fairy tales. They're doing legends and stuff too. So I was looking up Lauren, trying to figure out who he references, and I think he references a Welsh folklore figure, this like a hero king of sorts, because there's I think it's oh, forgive me, I'm gonna butcher this name because I'm doing it from memory. I think that he's called Lud La Errant, and I think
I have the conclusion.
I think that's who he's referencing because
Youthful folly!
Lud La Errant's
Want some more, do ya?
name was Silver Hand, and he was a hero king, like I said. But also, his name is Law Errant, which is like, you know, the law. And this guy's a police officer. So, like, that makes sense to me.
I'll take care of it.
And also, he's the Silver Fist. That's, like, his nickname when he was younger. But the name Lauren is derived from laurel. And laurel as in, like, laurel crowns, wreaths that you wear on your head kind of thing. So, like, that makes sense to me. But that's, like, really deep in the weeds. You'd have to dig for that one. If that's not who they're referencing, then I just don't know this fairy tale. Right? So, also, like, we get to the detective. The detective and their brother are called Hunin and Munin, right? And those are ravens from Norse mythology. And yes, they're also the raven from Edgar Allan Poe. Like Edgar Allan Poe's The Raven. But their canon names are Hugin and Munin, right? So I think it's not just fairy tales, it's folklore as well, and myths, and all that kind of stuff. So that really expands out, I think, I think that expands what they can do quite a lot, but it also makes sense because, like, we're really just talking about figures from narratives, right? So they could easily do like non-fairy tales and go to Alice in Wonderland, which isn't a fairy tale, but it is a very famous narrative work. You know what I mean? I mean, if they don't do an Alice tale, I'll be shocked.
Who's hid this here?
So I don't know, like, what story I would be most wanting to see, given that those are the parameters that we're working with. Oh, yeah, see, this is a mural of Lauren when he was younger. This is him. He was Silver Fist. He's got a bunch of street thugs that idolize him. But they don't know he's a cop now. This was the quest I did off screen to get me up to the level I needed to be to get to the, unlock the next part of the quest. What was the other part of that what was the other part of the question? Oh, Lauren's backstory. Yeah, I mean, it wasn't like his backstory. Oh dear, I'm stuck. It wasn't like his backstory, but it did have some insight into his background. Like, it wasn't his backstory. It was just 3 thugs who idolized Silver Fist, and they were raising hell and giving Lauren a lot of trouble. And he was like, I don't want to arrest these kids, but they need to go back to school. And then they kind of just, like, used his old legend to trick them to go back to school. So it didn't, like, go into depth about his background, but it did reference it in a fun way. What do I enjoy most about the beta? Honestly, I think the story is what I enjoy most about the beta. The story and the vibes of this game are really immaculate. Like, I think they really nailed the vibes of that, like, gothic horror fairy tale kind of genre. Like, this is the kind of game that if we had to, like, tread into a dark forest and follow a trail of candy, we'd end up at, like, a cannibal's house. And it would just be full of blood. You know what I mean? Like, this is that kind of game. That's what it feels like to me, anyway. Oh, look, we can buy things. That's convenient. I need those. As for what can be improved on, I think the exploration can be improved on. Like I said, if you're going to keep us in a city for most of the time, like, this is going to be the place where we spend the most time. Gotta add more interactions with this game. Like, I know there's the stock market. Like, you can play, you can do, like, the real estate investment and stuff. And you can find chests and whatnot, and you can open these shops and everything. But at the same time, it's not something that would keep me entertained for a long time. You know what I mean?
Everything.
Like, I can invest in this place, but okay. All that does is give me more money. Which is great. Don't get me wrong. I like being able to collect dividends on this kind of stuff. I like setting up some, like, passive resource gathering, but it's not that interesting, right? Like, okay, I've invested in this. Now what? I get 50,000 monies a day. Right? I think they can do a lot more in that respect. That's what I think. When they do their mandatory China-focused patch in 2.0, you're looking forward to seeing how they incorporate Chinese folklore? That will be interesting. I'll be surprised if they don't do a Sun Wukong story.
Excellent.
Or they don't incorporate him in some way. I will be very surprised. Because, like, as you can see, the exploration is just not that involved.
Still trying to disturb the peace.
I'm taking over.
Hold on, I want to see what her
surgery.
burst is. That's cool!
I know where to make the
Oh, cool. Okay.
Timing is everything. Reset the board.
She has a fun little break effect. That's neat.
Out of my way!
Fools belong in hell.
Am I gonna play Enfield? Yes, I am. Oh dear. Ow.
As I suspected.
Maybe I should level Firtho before getting into these boss fights.
Stay sharp.
I don't like how I'm doing 0 damage and I don't know why.
Used to the pain.
Oh
You'll
dear.
never learn!
I killed Cinderella! Oh no! Ow! Ow! Uh-oh.
I'll take care of this. I've warned you.
Maybe we should run. I don't know if I can do that, actually. But I'm gonna try, because I'm gonna die. Okay, I'm under-leveled for this. Grossly under-leveled. And I don't think you can run. Can you run? I don't think you can. This is an arena. She's level 4. That's not happening. Yeah, no, that's, I do think the combat has a lot of potential. It just doesn't feel quite deep enough yet. Like, the enemies are really aggressive. So it does feel like they could do a lot with, like, the counters and the dodges and things like that, to make the combat feel deeper. But, like, I'm not very good at the combat. Also, I'm really under-leveled, as you can see. So, don't expect great gameplay from me. I think, is it Lynn Zero who is looking at the combat side of things, like as a theory crafter? I forget. Hold on. I think
Life
we
has
should.
not been kind to me.
I'm gonna
Death,
try to.
on the other hand,
There we go.
has been a truer friend.
That should
What's
be helpful.
broken has been mended.
That should be helpful. At least level us up a little bit. Oh, actually, one more thing.
Life has not been kind to me.
Might also
Death,
help
on
if
the
she
other
has a
hand,
card.
Has been a truer friend.
Ya know what I mean. That
What's
might be
broken has
helpful.
Let's keep those brats.
Let's cut to the chase before you are silenced for good.
13.
Let's keep those brats in check, and then we'll get to have our vacation in peace.
That helps a little.
What's broken?
Life has not been kind to me. Death, on the other hand,
Don't have any.
has been a
No, I do.
truer friend.
Okay. Cards. Yeah, they're like light cones. But they're of people. So like if you what? Oh, jeez. Hi.
Out of my way!
trying to target an enemy. One of the biggest issues I think with this game though is the camera in combat, because like it's really hard to see what you're doing. And if you have a game that's like really heavily focused on parries and dodges and stuff, you gotta be able to see where things are coming from.
Go and take a
You know what I mean? That's the tricky thing.
Stop! I knew the game before you knew how to walk!
I'm taking over.
She's a fun healer though, I gotta admit. It seems like she drains her HP for something?
Nevermore.
Yeah. Anyway, that's kind of like my thought about that aspect. But yeah, so the equipment cards are like the people that you meet in-game. What? Oh, hi. What's up? Is this game a gacha? I mean, it looks like it might be, but there is no gacha in the first CBT. They just give you characters to test out. So I don't know what the gacha will look like. Like, for all I know, the gacha could end up being more like Duet Night Abyss, where it's like for cosmetics. We don't know. Okay, that's kind of cool. The problem with a live service detective game is that if you want to keep things interesting and like your focus is going to be on mysteries and stuff, then you're going to have to keep adding a lot of mysteries to the game. And I do think like at some level, the type of combat that's in this game and like the detective mystery solving side of things are not really congruent with each other. Like I don't think they mesh super well, or that they would apply to the same kinds of players, which I think matters more to live service than it does like in an offline game. This always seemed like a game to just buy. It does kind of have that feeling. And I really do think that's because it is a detective game to some degree. The characters have star rarities and stuff, so wouldn't get your hopes up for it not being a gacha. I mean, Duet Night Abyss had that too on their first betas. And then they changed it for launch so that it's just cosmetics now. So, I mean, that's why I said it's too early to tell. I think it's most likely going to be a gacha, but like what that... Okay, don't phase through me, please. Okay. Yeah, that's uncomfortable. I think it's too soon to tell like what will be part of the gacha and then what will matter. I guess. So we're looking for a harpy. They're on the roof. Watch me get my butt kicked. Actually, I fought a couple of harpies. It wasn't that bad. Oh, she's singing. You feel like you'll be very demotivated to play this game if it is a gacha because I'm already playing so many others. That is a real concern. Like a lot of the big games that are like really trying to drive hype recently are mostly live service games. And unlike offline games, there is a critical mass that one reaches for live service games, gacha or not, you know? So Yeah. I feel you on that, on the gacha game fatigue, though. I really do. I am a big fan of stories that end. Gacha games aren't exactly designed that way. But I do like having like one... I like having one live service game that I'm like playing. Because it's a nice like continuous game to kind of keep playing as a flow through between other games that I play. And it's just like a nice little thing to pick up in the morning over coffee, play a little bit, and then go get on with my day kind of thing. I do like that. But I feel like the critical mass for gachas, especially ones that are at scale, is about 3. At least that's been my experience. Once I start going over 3, I'm cooked. Bad time to get some tea. Bad time to get some tea. Bad time to get tea.
Is insignificant.
Oh, it's got auto aim. That's cool. That's convenient for me.
I'll take care of this.
Because I can't aim for shit.
Prepare for surgery.
One thing I will say about this game,
Out of my way.
when we talk about it like in comparison to some other games, like Genshin and stuff, the combat isn't as rotation heavy.
Still trying to
That is one thing I
some
feel
more, do
like.
ya?
Oh, I missed. Okay. It doesn't feel as rotation heavy, and I think a lot of that is because on the one hand you want to use your ambush moves, so you do kind of want to swap around a little bit. And then also the reactionary aspect of a lot of the dodging and parrying feels like it's less meaningful to have strict rotations, and I do kind of like that because Genshin and recently, to some extent, Wuthering Waves has this thing where they're very, very rotation heavy. It's swap, skill, burst, swap, skill, burst, swap, skill, burst, swap, skill, burst, attack, repeat, right? Like, that's kind of how it is. This game, I could be wrong by the time this game comes out, and maybe some theory crafter who spent way more time on the combat has a different opinion than I do, which would be more justified, honestly. But it feels like this has the potential to be less, less rotation heavy, which I do like. I do feel like rotations get real stale real quick. You're at about 2 gachas right now and you feel the strain? Yeah. Right now I'm currently playing Genshin and Star Rail. And I really want to play Arknights, and that's like one of the things. I played the Arknights closed second beta, and I really enjoyed it. And I'ma pick it up because it's a game that's literally right up my alley. But the problem is that, like, that is it, right? Like, if this game comes out, this game is gonna have to be so good and so tight and so polished that it's gonna make me drop Genshin, Star Rail, or Arknights. And of the 3, it will probably be Star Rail. You know what I mean? You like only having to control one character like DNA, take some of the stress of the team comps away? Yeah. You heard the gacha system in Arknights is horrible? It's not, actually. Okay, I would say that it's horrible if you're an impulse puller. If you're someone who pulls characters impulsively, it's not a... you'll struggle. if you are someone who's good at saving and you're ready to commit to getting a character, then it's not terrible. It's really not. You play 5 gotchas? I can't do that, man. Says someone who saved up to see 6 Scar. No, I'm good at saving and, you know, going all in on a character. The thing, Arknights has a more unique banner system than I think a lot of us are used to, because when Genshin came out, it kind of set a new standard that like so many other gotchas copied. And like a lot of them have like a little bit of a unique twist to it. Like they'll get rid of the 50-50, or they'll have like a regular Genshin style banner system, but then they also had a targeted banner where it's like there's no 50-50 and then it's just more pulls, but you're 100% guaranteed, right? Like they add some little twists into it and stuff. Arknights is just a different system entirely. Like when you pull for a character, it's 120 pulls to get the character, but you can get a character before then. Oh, you're not gonna make me solo these guys with Alf, are you? They are. That's mean. That's mean. I know how she works, but that doesn't mean I'm good at using her. Because I'm not.
If you get close enough.
So it's 120, but there's a few like important things to remember or to keep in mind about the system. And that is that when you have, this is hard to do. When you have a character that you want, they stay on rate up for like 3 banners in a row. So like if there's multiple characters you want coming out in a row, you can actually skip the first one that comes out and pull on the second or third, and potentially pull all 3 of them in like the same session. You know what I mean? So that's a thing. But also, if you go through the trouble of pulling a character and you go all the way to 120, you're gonna have enough currency to go for the weapon for that character. This is awful.
That was close. The Miss Agency taught me how to get the bullseye every time.
Ooh, it's shooting me.
Flamethrower ready.
It's gonna be much easier when there's just one of you. There. Just one left.
Super cleaner. All fueled up and ready to roast.
So does the first banner just have fewer rate ups then? Because there hasn't. Okay, so here's the other thing that's really important to understand about Arknights. When you have a limited character, they stay limited, I'm putting that in quotes, for like 3 banners. And then they move to the standard pool, which means that that character can surprise you as a 50-50 loss. So there's no like perpetual limiteds necessarily, as far as I know. So they stay limited for those 3 banners, and they stay rate up for those 3 banners, right? So the character A will come out, and they'll be the rate up, and then character B will come out, and then so A and B will then be both rate ups, and then character C will come out, and then it'll be A, B, and C will all be rate ups. And then character D will come out, and character A will move to standard, while B, C, and D will stay on limited. You see what I'm saying? So, like, there's, again, no weapon system that's, like you don't really have to pull for the weapon stuff, because if you pull for a character, you will have enough currency from pulling on that banner to get the weapon for them, so you don't have to worry about that. So, like, I I know it looks not as good on paper, but when you start looking at the specifics of it, it's not nearly as bad as it sounds. It's still gacha. It's still a bit predatory. All gacha systems are inherently predatory. That's just par for the course. But I would say that it's like, you know, it's not any more or less predatory than any other system that's out there right now. Like 3 characters at the same time. I think that's 3 characters on one banner. Like, I think it's like a secondary raid up thing. I have to go look. I forget. You read that they do stay limited, though? They should move to standard. I think they changed some of the mechanics between the second closed beta test and launch. So that might be where some of the confusion comes from. Because they made some announcements of it, and they did a special program recently, which I still need to watch. I'll get there. I've been really busy. But they did a special program where they explained the rates, so I could be a little off on that. But the latest of the rates, like what will be in launch, should be in that special program. Am I gonna do a playthrough of Arknights or just jump into Enfield? I'm gonna jump into Enfield, and the thing is I've been looking into Arknights lore because obviously Arknights lore is connected to Enfield lore, but it's okay. The relationship between Arknights and Arknights Enfield is the same relationship as Honkai Impact 3rd and Honkai Star Rail. Like, it's not 100% necessary, but some things will make more sense if you know them, right? And it is a direct sequel, technically. But knowing about all the nitty-gritty details of Arknights, as far as I know, is not necessary for Enfield. A lot of the stuff carries over, but like a lot of the geopolitical stuff doesn't really. Like Talos 2 has been on its own for about 150 years. So it's kind of got its own. So while it's still using like Originium and the Ether side and everything, like it's still using all the same concepts and stuff like that. It's not like that's kind of mostly what's carrying over, and not so much the specifics of it all. You know what I mean? Am I okay with HSR 3.8 Revelation? I don't know what you're talking about. In R99, almost all characters are on standard, but still get banners. Losing your 50-50 is unpredictable. Yeah. Can you co-op in this game? Not yet, but again, this is a first beta, so who knows if that'll be a thing in the future. It's way too early to judge a game, whether or not a game's gonna have co-op. Like, Zenless didn't get co-op until like this year. But now it has it.
Giddy up, horsey.
Kind of. Enfield looks good, but don't think it's for me given the projected cast, but that's normal. Most gachas don't have a preferred gender ratios, but hey, stuff I still to be seen. No! Don't hit me!
Ha! Youthful folly!
Enemies. Give up already.
Timing is everything.
The Celeron origin reveal? It's not an origin reveal. I mean, I will actually fight people on that one. I think people took that way too literally. But hey, I've been wrong before, who knows? It just doesn't make sense if that's the origin. When you start looking at it, it doesn't make any sense at all. We'll talk about it in a second. Hold on.
Fools belong in hell.
Yeah, Stellaron Origin stuff I don't buy at all. And the thing is if you guys haven't played through 3.8 yet, plug your ears for a second, I guess. They specifically call them the cancer of the harmony, but that doesn't mean they come from the harmony. It means that the Stellaron is like a cancer to the harmony, which makes sense because the Stellaron is the cancer of all worlds. That's just what it is. It's always been a cancer. But if you think about like what a Stellaron is or what it doesn't make sense for it to belong to the harmony, to me at least, because one of the things it really likes to do is grant wishes. But one thing harmony wants to do is make everyone's wish the same wish. They're making a hive mind, right? Like everything needs to live in harmony. Everything needs to be congruent. To have Stellarons, which exacerbate the wills of the individual, goes against the harmony, which would make sense if you think about it in terms of it being a cancer to a harmony. Because if an individual within a hive mind has a wish so strong it can take over the hive mind, that's not good. That goes against harmony. You know what I mean? Like, that breaks the hive mind. So I don't buy it at all. I don't buy it. I think that's one hell of a red herring. Do I think that the Stellarons came from the destruction still? Not necessarily. I still think that their origin is not from any singular eon. And I can tell you why. I just don't know if I want to right now. Oh, look, blood. The wish-granting thing being a part of destruction, considering how Finon's whole thing was that his wish was to grant everyone else's and that he's Mr. Destruction Guy. Yeah. Let me put this into new context for you. Harmony isn't evil. I wouldn't call it that. Oh, hey, look, it's Red Rose. I still think Stellarons are seeds, and part of the reason is because the Trailblazer carries a Stellaron inside of them. And if you look at the eons that are like competing for finality, one of them is, well, one of them potentially should be the Trailblaze, right? The Trailblaze seems to turn into Terminus at some point or reaches Terminus at some point, and then either becomes or decides the final shape of finality, whether it's remembrance, harmony, or whatever, right? So to me, the Stellaron is a seed from which a new universe can be planted. And that's why they try to grant people's wishes, right? So I think every eon has a relationship with the Stellaron in some way. And I think the competition is to see whose seed gets planted in the garden at the end of time to become the next universe. Whose vision of the new world wins. You know what I mean?
We'll need it someday.
That's kind of how I've perceived it. Because it doesn't really make sense for it to be something that belongs to any one eon when you start to look at it. At least, not to me. Oh, I should have known. This is not a great angle.
I'll take care of this. Reset the board.
Does my theory on eons coming in pairs play a part in that idea? Don't put stock in those theories. Like, those theories are just theories.
You'll never learn. Rat!
I'm not trying to build upon, like, a greater sense of the world. It was just a hypothesis.
Go and take a break.
It may or may not have any bearing. And I don't use any of those theories to, how do I put it? Shape my future theory crafting. If that one's wrong, it's wrong. I don't look at, there she is. I don't look at the eons come in pairs thing and then say, this has heavy impact and will always influence my takes on eons. It's just a passing thought. Huh, I wonder if eons actually come in pairs. That's all. This game makes me miss The Wolf Among Us. It does have that kind of vibe, doesn't it? Do I have a favorite in this game so far? So far, I really like Lauren. I think female character-wise, there's not really one that truly appeals to me yet outside the female main character, but I don't count the main characters when people ask me for favorites. That is not how you write Chow. Is Red Rose playable? Not in this beta. Will she be eventually? I can't imagine she won't be. There aren't that many playable characters in this beta. There's there are these right here. So there's the main character, Lauren, Cinderella, Firtho, Argus, Alf,
There's no bombs here.
and one more that I don't think I can get. And that is... Can I... Okay. This one. Cynthia. This is the other one. This is the other playable character in this closed beta. I'm sure that by CBT2 there will be even more, but for now this is kind of what there is. I've seen a lot of theories for Red Rose. I thought when I first saw her, like in the first like teaser images and stuff, that she was the Cheshire Cat. But based on her name, who knows? Snow White would be interesting. There is another fairy tale that I can't remember the name of that has a dancing girl in it. And since she's a dancer, I was wondering if that might be it, but let's see. Hold on. Well, I mean, I guess there's a 12 dancing princesses, yeah, but I don't know if that's what we're looking at. Maybe. Am I still playing Persona 5X? Yes. Casually. The problem I've been having with that game is time. Like, I think I'd be able to... I think I might have to go really, really casual on it soon. Like, just pop in for story time periodically, now that my account's kind of situated. Because, you know, it's just another account to keep up to date, and it's hard to manage multiple accounts, and I think you kind of gotta pick and choose your battles, you know what I mean? You can't win them all, because you can't play them all. So I am still playing. I just recently, as of like this week, stopped logging in daily. But I think I'll check in with it periodically and stuff. It's one of those games that's like, I feel like if it came out 5 years ago, I'd be way more into it. Because like, it's a good game. It's just like, it's definitely one of those casual games you play on a commute. You know what I mean? Like on a bus or train ride. It's definitely written with that in mind. I also think that if I wasn't doing, you know, like making lore content, I'd probably be more inclined to keep playing it in the background. But the reality is I gotta make some.
I won't be kept in the dark.
I gotta be a bit more choosy with how I spend my time. Where am I going? Oh, okay. Oh, the red shoes story. Yeah. P5X is one of those games that promises you a funny, very campy, power of friendship style story and delivers on that story. You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't try to be something it's not, and I appreciate that. I think in an era where everything is very dark and gritty and trying to be like super deep and like all that kind of stuff, like it is refreshing in that respect. So it's a good game. It's just like, because of my position in the gaming space, making lore videos, it's difficult to keep working with it. Silver Palace will be your first gacha game, which will release when you graduate. Well, that's some confidence. Are you graduating next year then? HSR is just full of plot holes at this point, but I'm okay with it. Just close your eyes and enjoy the narrative. Yeah. You know, I kind of had that feeling with Amphorius. HSR is in such a weird spot. Such a weird spot. Wish this game would have some Shadow of Doubt elements. I don't think I'm familiar with that one. Oh, that was uncomfortable. All right, dude. What do you got? What's this? Shortness of breath. Oh, he's been smoking. An asthmatic that's been smoking. Maybe they'll add them, but the first mystery should probably be easier. I agree. I think so long as the first mystery is intriguing and they kind of introduce some of the base concepts, they don't need to introduce all of the mechanics. It's just that from what we've seen so far, that's all we have. We don't even have the complete first story. So it's really difficult to judge where they're going to take the mechanics of it. But I really hope that they make it a little bit more involved. I think making some evidence missable would help, honestly. Or if like they could make it so that you can piece together the answer if you're missing some evidence, but you need like at least 2 out of 5 pieces or something, right? But you can collect all 5, but you need, yeah. There's some detective stories I've seen where they really try to get you to understand what you've been seeing. By using like word randomizers, and you have to pick like the 2 right words in an order where it's almost like impossible to guess it because there are so many, so you actually have to really pay attention. I've seen stuff like that. I feel like that might be too aggressive for a gacha, but that's another thing. Silver Palace might be a good game to just do on stream, but I would still have to do some account management on the side. Just to make sure characters are at a level where I can get through story stuff. But I don't know. We'll see. I think I mean, it's still way too early to say anything about what I'm going to be doing with this game in particular, because, I mean, there's at least 10 to 18 months before a release. What if Silver Palace wasn't a gacha besides costumes? Yeah, I mean, that would be ideal, but I have a feeling that's not a route they're going to go, though, with the cosmetics. Just because of the way that the outfits are designed, and like the fact that there's a lot of symbolism and stuff in the outfits, I feel like for them to do new models and stuff like that is a little unlikely. Did I play VN? What, visual novel? What? Like, do I play visual novels in general? Is that the question? Or are you asking about a specific visual novel? Finished Genshin's latest Archon quest yesterday. Looking forward to the next... Yeah, listen. I am gonna refrain from saying much, but I think I've never been more disappointed in an Archon quest or in Genshin's writing ever. And I'm changing the types of videos I'm making for Genshin because of this quest. It was a mess. Yeah, really, I'm gonna stop making theories about the plot. Like, period, full stop. Not doing it anymore. I'm just not going to. The reality is, like, the speed at which Hoya wants to give answers in that game now is so fast. It is quite literally impossible. Impossible! Alright, what do you got? It's impossible to put together, you know, comprehensive big theories, or as I like to call them, conspiracy theories, the way I have been. It's just, it's not gonna, I can't do it. They don't live long enough anymore. Because it's like, at this point, well, it's never been. It's never been about being right or wrong about anything. It's just about, it's about, like, letting things sit. Right? What is there in this game currently that I could potentially theorize about in a big way that they are not going to, within the next couple of patches, turn around and give answers to? Like, I can't name anything. You know what I mean? And that, I feel like that's a real problem for me. Not for players, but like for me, as someone who makes lore videos and theory videos specifically, I find it incredibly frustrating. So frustrating. Like, it takes... Yeah, they're removing ambiguity at a speed in which I cannot analyze the points where there are ambiguous areas to work. I can't work in the spaces in between the lines if they keep filling in between the lines. You know what I mean? Like, I just can't. It doesn't matter, like, how accurate it is or isn't. So, like, I actually have to complete, like, the reason I haven't immediately gone and done something is not just because I'm working on other things, but because I have to rethink how I even approach doing videos for Genshin, period. Like, I just... Like, I'm not going to do theories for Star Rail anymore. I'm not doing that either. Because Star Rail's also proven that, we're going to do what we want. And we're also not going to give you any time to stew on things. Because everything gets resolved within one planet. And you can't really work on anything on a cosmic scale because that's too big, and we're gonna do whatever we like there, and we're writing so vaguely that we can fill in the blanks with whatever we want, whatever we want. I'm like, okay, well, that takes all the fun out of it. Do I have any feelings on the Harbinger debates? You mean like on how they're... Oh boy. Hold on. If you can clarify what you mean on that while I deal with this guy, that would be great. Somehow I wasn't paying full attention and was not expecting to have to punch something in the face.
Timing is everything.
There we go. People are talking about the Harbingers being like declawed. I mean, yes. I mean, I feel like somewhere around Natlan, Genshin got new writers. Because I feel like a lot of the stuff that was planned for Natlan, for example, was removed and replaced with something a bit more palatable. Because like there's so many loose ends that looked like they were setting up for a very different story. And even to some degree in Fontaine, it felt like they were leading up to a very different story. But like, it was I really felt it in Natlan. But I feel like they forgot that Sandrone ripped out a guy's tongue in Fontaine and sent it over as an apology for his actions. Like, yes, she's very, Soon. You know, like, she's very tsundere. Or dere, I guess, if you want to put it that way. And she's kind of abrasive and stuff, but she's not rip out your tongue and send it to somebody as an apology abrasive. Right? I feel like Wander kind of kept his claws. To some degree. Like, he recognizes, yeah, no, I messed up, but I'm gonna work for you and try to, you know, do better. Like, I felt like you kind of understood why the declawing happened, or I guess why the claw caps got put on him. But I do feel like with Arlecchino, it feels a little off. I feel like her case is less so than anyone else's. But I feel like Sandrone probably, out of all of them, feels the most declawed right now. But I don't know, I never really expected them to be true villains. It does feel like... I don't know if it's so much that they're sanitized, so much as it's like... It feels like they're only being presented to us in their most palatable form. How's that? Like, a lot of the stuff they did is still there. They're not, like, saying they didn't do it or they're reattributing it to somebody else or something. Other than Wanderer, who's, you know, that was for plot reasons. And he still did it. It's just people don't think he did it. But, don't give a werewolf chocolate. Oh, this isn't the werewolf guy, it's an old guy. Even Dottore got a few sympathetic lines, but isn't that just how Hoyo... Yeah, okay, so there's a fine line to tread, I think, between a villain being relatable, like how you can understand how society created this villain. Like, there is a fine line between that and declawing. Or, like, making them more palatable. Or making them less evil. You know what I mean? I really think that, like, Otto is one of the best villains Hoyo has ever written because he committed a crazy amount of atrocities. And he is so ethically messed up. But what made him such a good, compelling villain was how relatable his trek to becoming a villain was. Not even relatable, but understandable, right? Like, it made him, it didn't forgive any of the stuff he did. It didn't redeem anything he did. But essentially, it turned around and said, you know, this is just the reason he did it. And you understand it. And for a minute you wonder, like, if that was you, would you have ended up in the same position, right? That, I think, is the hallmark of a great villain. All right, let's see the rest of these patients. They're all scattered about. They changed Rare so much. Rare, oh, he's such a travesty, man. Rare is just a tragic victim of character assassination in a lot of ways. But yeah, so like there's a fine line, I think. And I think it's really hard to... I think writing a good villain is really difficult. Like, just in general. I think it's really difficult. Even more so if you're trying to sell... Well, even more so if you're trying to sell them. Let me target you! Oh my god. Leave me alone.
Stop! Ha! Youthful folly! Watch and learn!
Out of my way!
I see a comment I want to read, but I can't! I'm sorry, hold on.
Your death is insignificant.
Still trying to disturb the peace. I knew the game before you knew how to walk! Want some more, do ya?
Hold on. Okay, they're all gone. We're good. Hoyo sanitize their stories to appeal to the masses. I somehow see people saying that Genshin's story sometimes is too intense, horrifying. Like, how? Yeah. No, I agree with the first part of the statement. I think at some point, like, people have to sit down and say, like, is this story written specifically for me as a demographic? Not me as a person, but like, am I in the demographic that this was written for? And I think that, like you said, Genshin's whole thing is that it's trying to be for everyone as much as it possibly can. And in that way, it ends up not really being for any one person. Like, there's always something that's kind of not for you. Why keep doing it, man? Why can't we have truly evil villains? That's kind of what I was really hoping they'd do with Dottore, and like, they kind of did. Kind of. Ah, cool shop. Reality is there's a lot of young people who play the game. The game is 10 plus. It's not going to hit those intense levels for an older demographic. Yeah. I think that's part of it. I think that's definitely part of it. Oh, I get to sniff stuff. Okay. I am very blurry. That's what happens to me when I sniff smelly things. I can't see. The whole site goes, woo! Well, there we go. This one came me right back to my senses. Great. Excellent. That's smelling salts right there. This is kind of like the thing with Millie Astro Wonderland too, right? Like, Millie Astro Wonderland is like trying to pull in that younger demographic for sure. Obviously, it's not just going to appeal to the younger demos, but like, that is where it's really targeted. And they're trying to do that to get you into their ecosystem so that you'll stay there and that you'll pay for the other stuff. You know what I mean? Or just use mommy and daddy's credit card. to buy stuff in Miliastra. Okay, can you auto-target from the start without having to do it manually? That would be fantastic. I'd love that.
I'll take care of this. Nevermore.
Oh no. Doing that thing where they have guys? I think I'm under-leveled again. And I can't run.
I'm taking over. Commencing emergency
Uh-oh.
surgery.
I'm screwed. Oh boy. I'm so screwed. Yep, we're just gonna die.
I'm used to the pain.
I couldn't take one of these guys, let alone two. I am so under-leveled.
No need to worry.
I mean, look at the, like, pitiful amount of damage I did. Yeah, okay. Why am I hitting 0 damage? They have shields, and I can't break them. What do I think of villains that are written to be evil from the start? Like ones that get treated maybe more as thematic devices and standalone characters with motivations and everything. I think those villains aren't very interesting, but I think there are times and places for them.
Explaining conditions and treatments to patients is putting a serious toll on my circulatory and nervous systems.
Oh, thanks for sharing. I feel like even the villains that you feel like were always evil weren't always evil. Like, no one's born evil, and that's kind of the point, you know? Even if you look at, like, really classic Disney villains, right? Like, you look at the evil stepmother in Cinderella. She probably wasn't always evil. She was probably a real looker in her teens, and she got screwed over by her husband, and it made her a bitter old woman, and she took her frustrations out on Cinderella, and that's how she became a villain. Doesn't make her forgivable, doesn't make her less evil, it just makes it more understandable where she came from. Voldemort? I don't think Voldemort's a good villain. Xandar was a pretty good villain. And I think a lot of that, though, is also because he's not evil.
Diagnose.
Like, Xandar's not evil. He's just really stuck into his convictions. I just think that villains who were always evil, who were just born evil and, like, that's their thing, are not interesting. That's all. Because, like, what more is... There's not anything else to them. They may as well just be a natural disaster at that point, as far as I'm concerned. Like, there's no reason for them to be human, or human-ish, if they were just always evil. That's my opinion. I don't know where I'm going. Go to the memoir bar. Oh, okay. I'm going in a building. I can read. Dottore wasn't born evil, just an egomaniac? Yeah. I mean, society made Dottore. Had he received proper guidance and stuff like that, like proper, instead of just being exiled and just told, no, absolutely not, like, he would have had a very different story. And I think that's what makes, or what should have made him a lot more compelling than how you ended up using him as. I mean, he's still, by Genshin standards, pretty good, but he's no Xandar. Treating evil humans like natural disasters sounds very Buddhism-like. Yeah. Genuine question that will affect if I play the game or not, but how many big burly dudes are there? Right now, 1. But there's also only like 7 playable characters, so I wouldn't judge it yet. Judge it on the second closed beta for that kind of thing. Like, not yet. It's way too early, man. Way too early. Lauren is your only big burly dude. That's it. Just Lauren. And then there's Argos, the bartender who we just saw. He's also playable. But he's not like a big burly dude, but he's a dude. My understanding is that GRIMM is listed to be playable as well. I think he's listed on the website as playable. I forget. So that's already, I think that is the, let's see, who else is there? Oh, that's it. It's just that. I think that does put Silver Palace at the standard gacha 2-to-1 female to male ratio. Because that is kind of what it is. When the gachas aren't 100% female, they're about a 2-to-1 female to male. It's very rare that the males break out of that ratio. So at some point it becomes a question of what's the quality of... Aw, man.
Go and take a break.
Definitely a bone saw. Definitely bone saw.
Distraction.
GRIMM is the burliest man. He's the manliest man to ever man. Oops. I was reading. Who do you think she's referencing? I don't know. She's got to be referencing some kind of doctor, right? So, okay, there was... I need to do more research, but there's a series of children's stories that I think is the origin of Edward Scissorhands. I wasn't paying attention. She could be Dr. Frankenstein. Yeah, that's very possible. I didn't even think of that. Well, that's true. That would qualify. But there's a series of children's tales about this child with something. They have something about scissors, which is why I think they're supposed to be like a inspiration or source for Edward Scissorhands, but I'm not entirely sure. But that series of stories is supposed to be like a warning against different illnesses, like common illnesses. I think this is funny. I want to put braised fish. Fish head and gin. Feed it to somebody. As it offers the fragrance of mud and moss. Delightful. Delightful indeed. But yeah, so like the child dies in like a bunch of really gruesome ways. Getting their limbs chopped off or, you know, that kind of stuff. Detonated! Yes! Absolutely. Oh, fine. I guess we'll shake it. Genshin's playable characters is why I believe there shouldn't be gacha mechanic lore. I'm not sure what that means. Thoughts on Varka's gameplay? We do not talk about any kind of leaks publicly. Period. Well, the child doesn't just die. The child dies in like a bunch of gruesome ways. It's great. Not great, but like the series of stories is very entertaining because it's so gruesome. It's like, wow, they really thought this was effective. Was it effective? We'll never know. Do you think we're going to go to HI3 Earth at some point in the HSR story? No. Oh, there are so many. This is a long quest. Oh, I guess that there's like a lot of optional stuff. But you know us, we must do the optional stuff. Sorry for asking again, but how are you planning on changing how you make videos on Genshin? Oh, I didn't notice if you asked the first time. I'm sorry. I'm trying to interact more with chat, but I get really distracted. I'm making an effort. Hi, Firtho. Hold on.
An old friend runs the clinic.
Okay, so essentially what I've kind of come to the conclusion of is that Hoyo has made the, it's made it untenable for me to work on theories that deal with the current plot. So I'm just gonna not do theories about the current plot because I feel like unless you do really short theories that are quick and that are very simple, you're either going to be disproven or proven like within a patch. And like the theory doesn't have enough time to breathe or live or promote discussion or anything. It just kind of like, it ends up being like a lot of wasted effort otherwise, which I don't like. It's really the wasted effort thing for me that gets me more than anything else. So what I've kind of landed on for now, and this is still subject to change, but I think what I'm going to do instead is I'm going to focus more on analysis and inspiration in post. So I might look at things that came out in a quest and look back retroactively at stuff. Or I might just focus a lot of the quote-unquote theorizing sections in world quests specifically. But I really feel like I'm probably going to have to stick more to inspirations and analyses than anything else. YouTube thinks I'm playing Code Vein. Yeah, Silver Palace isn't in YouTube's list of games yet, so I couldn't select it. Have I read the Traveler's skin description? Yeah, that's actually that was the deciding factor for me for the reason why I don't want to do any more theorizing about the plot anymore. Because here's the thing. The way Hoyo's going, it feels like they had a slow burn story for a long time. And then they realized that the burn was too slow. But instead of just increasing the flame a little bit,
I see everything.
you know, they decided, we're gonna pour a whole tank of gasoline on this sumbitch. You know what I mean? And now it's just going... So this tiny little candle flame is now an entire house on fire. And I don't really know how to operate with that. It feels like they're accelerating things so quickly because there's something else they want to get to. Like, it feels like the story they've been building up to so far is no longer the story that they want to have matter the most. Does that make sense? I'm not quite sure how else to put it, but it feels like they're trying to accelerate through all of the stuff that they've been building up to, not at the pace they originally intended, but at a pace so accelerated that they're going to run breakneck speed into whatever the next plotline is. And it was the lore of the Traveler's clothing that made me decide that. Because I was already thinking it based off of some of the events in the quest, especially surrounding the moons, which I'll never forgive them for, by the way. Never. I would have rather never seen them. Nope. Would have rather it have just been a mystery forever. But it just feels like they're just trying to tie up every possible loose end, not because they feel like, oh wait, people need to know about this, but just because they don't want to deal with those plot lines anymore. It feels like they want different plot lines. It really does. That's what it feels like to me, and that's why I don't want to theorize about the plot anymore. Because it feels like they just gave me a big fuck you and said, nope, we're gonna do what we want. Whatever time you just put into all this, all the theorizing you've been, putting the puzzle pieces together, this, that, and the other thing, whether it was right or wrong, doesn't matter. We're gonna do something else. You know? It's very much that scene from Toy Story, I don't want to play with you anymore. That's how it kind of, that was the sort of vibe I got from the writers going through this quest. I think the quest had great presentation, don't get me wrong. Like, I think they've done a lot of compelling stuff with it, but like, as far as like theorizing on a deep lore side goes, it really, the whole thing felt like, nah. Like the writers were just going, nah. We don't care about catering to you guys anymore. So, you know, it's really difficult to... Wasn't the original pace too slow? Yeah, but you don't go from, like, a little candle flame to a house on fire. You don't go from candle to house fire. You go from, like, candle to fireplace. You know what I mean? It just sounds like they took all of the lore they bit up and they just set it on fire. All at once. I'm not saying they just made it all not matter, but it definitely no longer matters the way it used to. Was it they tied everything up in a neat little knot? No. It's that they spent 6 years building up the moons for them to have one scene and then to be never seen again. And they just gave them NPC models that were so basic that they could have been Star Rail NPCs and I wouldn't have known the difference. I would have rather never seen... I would have rather them just been ghostly voices. I really would have. But again, I don't think it bothers as many people, or it bothers people the way it bothers me. And I think that's just because of the way that I have to interact with content because of what I do. You know what I mean? I think for the average player, or someone who doesn't read anything in the game, which I would assume is the bulk of players, like, it probably doesn't matter at all. It was probably very satisfying to them, and that's fine. But, like, that's not actually what I'm talking about. What I'm talking about is my plans for what I do. And I find that what Hoyo's chosen to do and who they've chosen to cater to doesn't really jive with how I've been operating with their material so far. You know what I mean? So I have to change the way I interact with what they're giving me. That's what I'm saying. Just read the outfit lore. Am dumb. Why is that bad? It's not bad.
The latest silver.
Like, don't misunderstand anything I'm saying as saying like all of this is bad. It's not bad. It just requires me to change some of the stuff that I'm doing and the way I'm doing it. That's all. Change isn't inherently bad. What Hoyo's doing isn't inherently bad. Just because they're making something not specifically catered to people like me doesn't mean they're doing a bad thing or that they're doing a bad job. It just means that the two pieces of this puzzle, me making certain kinds of lore content and Hoyo making a certain kind of story, are no longer congruent. So one of them has to change. Hoyo's not going to change. Hoyo already changed. They've decided what they're doing. And so I either need to quit or change in response. Because what I'm doing is no longer feasible, right? That's what I'm saying. So don't take it as this being bad. It's just different. And it's gonna affect different people different ways. It's affecting me this way. I have to change the way I work, which I've found really frustrating. It's not the lore itself that's frustrating. It's the fact that I have to change the way I interact with lore now that's frustrating to me. Because just when you think you have a good system down, now you gotta do the whole thing over again. So. But I do feel justified in my original assessment of Nod Cry after this, though. I do stand by what I said. Were any of the books in the Sindorne section relevant? I mean, if you did the Narcissenkreuz quest, not really. If I plan to do more referential content, am I going to do the same thing for Star Rail, like going into Amphorius, Greek inspirations, or the religions and philosophies that go into paths? I kind of do that in the recaps. I think I'm just going to stick to recaps for Star Rail. I do put theorizing and analysis into the recaps because I'm trying to explain the concepts as they are relevant to the story at hand. But I'm not going to make like standalone big theories for Star Rail anymore. Whatever theories I put in will be in the recaps. Oh, Alf, how did you graduate maid school? I don't... Oh... I don't understand how she graduated in school. What was my original assessment of Not Cry if you be kind as mind a forgetful soul like me? I mean, it was mostly just talking about changing demographic. That, you know, if they want to, I was basically trying to say that they were changing the way they were doing the story and that they were not necessarily retconning things, because that is not what I think they were doing. I just think they were accelerating things and that they shuffled things around. And that Nod Cry was a sign of that shift, that demographic shift. A lot of what I said got it misinterpreted by a lot of people, which is understandable. I didn't use the best phrasing. But my assessment was really like, I'm very concerned that Hoyo is changing the way they do their stories. Like, they said they're removing story quests, and they kind of did. They removed them for some characters, but not others. And I personally did not like the way they changed it. I know that some people did. That's fine. Again, it's not a good or bad thing. It just means that they're changing their target demographic. I'm not a part of the target demographic. That's okay. They've also reduced the amount of total exploration that you do. The regions are a lot smaller. A lot smaller. Which is good for some people, less good for others. I prefer the exploration side of things. I like the exploration the most. I like the discovery section. I started playing Genshin because I wanted to play more Breath of the Wild, but I was tired of Breath of the Wild. So like that was the reason why I started playing. So for me, that's very important, but for other people, less important. They added Miliaster, which I really hated. I still hate. I'm not changing my opinion on that. I know a lot of people like it. That's fine. Not gonna shit on them. Not gonna say they shouldn't enjoy it. It's just definitely not for me. I am not the target demographic. Are you seeing a pattern?
Stop.
Where am I going? Are we all going down there? We're all going down here. Hello. Retrospectively, we can actually see some of their, oh no, we gotta make a change in Fontaine. Yeah, I think that's where you can first start to see it. But I feel like you really felt it in Natlan. And Nod Cry just made it come front and center. Because I still think that it would have made more sense narratively to go to Snezhnaya first and then accelerate everything to Nod Cry after that. Where then it's revealed that Columbine is a moon, and then Dottore comes in and he's like, ah ha ha, I'm going to be a descender and take over and break through fate. You know, like that kind of thing. That's kind of... It would have made more sense narratively, structurally, and build-up-wise to do it that way. But they chose not to do it that way, which means they're going to use Snezhnaya as a launching point for the next plot point. But in the process of doing so, they kind of neutered the sinners, so to speak, narratively speaking. Which I'm also kind of like, well, I guess it's another big, bad kind of down. So, you know. I also like my afternoon dessert as a cup of coffee. Coffee on its own is too bitter, and that comes from someone who really likes straight matcha. Very, very bad. Very bitter. Need lots of sugar, lots of cream. It's the only way to enjoy coffee. Fight me. A lot of people will fight me on that, actually. No, black coffee is the only true coffee to enjoy. Yeah, I know. Not me, though. I'm not that strong. I can only do bitter tea.
I see everything.
Oh, I'm already invested in this, that's why. You eat coffee beans? I'll eat coffee beans if you dip them in chocolate first. How's the horsing around feel? It's a little clunky, a little unpolished. I would say it's more comfortable than like Breath of the Wild or Tears of the Kingdom horses, though. You do have a bit more control than that, but I think I'd still like it to be a little bit more controlled. Especially because it's not a real horse, so I don't need to account for the fact that, oh, this is an animal that I'm controlling. No, this is a horse-shaped vehicle I'm controlling. You know what I mean? Black coffee doesn't work on you. It's good as a feeling, not as a taste. Yeah. Goodness. See, I wonder about quests like these as we're kind of going through. I know we're kind of going through them passively and not like paying a ton of attention to them, but like I do wonder about these back and forth quests where you're like running all over the city like this. I feel like unless you have more exploration elements or more park, I feel like one thing that would make this so much more interesting to explore if we're going to stay mostly in city-like environments, or at least like that's going to be our hub, is if we can parkour like crazy. I'm not talking about just being able to climb any wall. I'm talking like straight up parkour. Like if you can go between buildings and then you can use a jump button and then jump, 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 right? Like not climb, jump. Like to like, you know how in Spider-Man games and stuff, I'm talking with my hands and I'm not having them on the controller. That's a problem. Like, they make navigating the city, like, not really a bit of a puzzle, but it's like a, you know, you have to navigate the city. You gotta swing, you do tricks, you, like, jump on stuff, you do barrel rolls and all that. Like, they make that a little bit more interesting. I'm not sure the horse really gets you there. HSR has been better for keeping the camps bad. Yeah, and I think that's partly the age rating. Do I intend to keep playing Silver Palace if it releases for good? I don't know. It's way too early to say. I think it's got good, I think the game's got good bones, you know? I think it's got real good bones. But the thing is, bones don't make the man. That didn't, that wasn't anything. That was not a great, yeah. You know what I mean. You know what I mean. You need to put some meat on that bones, and then you need to dress it in a fine suit. What are my pronouns? Oh, I don't care. I don't care about my personal I really don't. I couldn't give a shit. But I guess if you really want one, I guess everyone just defaults to she, her, I guess. I legitimately don't care. If people mistake me for male, like male pronouns or male present, I don't give a shit. I really don't. I'll respect other people's pronouns, because I know it matters to them. It just doesn't matter to me.
Excellent.
So you can say whatever you want. Wow, Farley. Failure to provide a good flesh covering makes good bones irrelevant, or at least a waste of dev soup. Wow. Wow. See, this is the other thing about the horse, is that it gets stuck really easy because of the way, like, all this kind of stuff goes. And, like, if I can parkour like this, how come I can't parkour other stuff? I'm not saying I have to be able to open world climb everything, but it would be much more interesting if there was more stuff to, you know, go around. Like, if the cars were actually driving on the road and I could, like, jump over them and shit. That would be cool, right? I think that those are all, like, little things that they could think about. Because, like, if you're going to be traversing this world, you gotta make traversal interesting. Not just fast and efficient, but interesting.
The center of city gossip and drunken truths. Take us.
Magic of cuteness become delicious. Okay. I am pressing X to doubt. What is my best game story-wise? Like, for live service or, like, in general? In general, it's... I feel like you can't really just say, like, this game has the best story. Because, like, a lot of times when it comes to games, like, you have to look at it from the perspective of, what is the game actually trying to offer me? What is it promising to deliver? And then, does it deliver on that, right? To use Persona 5 The Phantom X for an example, it's not the best story. Like, if I just take it in comparison in isolation and compare it to anything else, it's not the best story. It's, like, pretty simple, it's pretty campy, it's pretty straightforward, it's, you know, like, all that kind of stuff. But that is the type of story the game promises to give you from the get-go, right? And it delivers on that story, so I think that is a good story. One of my biggest issues with Wuthering Waves, because I think this is a good point of comparison, is that at the beginning, it promises you one kind of story. It promises you a very mature, sort of gritty, post-apocalyptic sort of story. That's kind of like what the marketing was all about. That's kind of what the setting was all about. It was like what the first beta was. And then it holds your hand and treats you like an infant for the first several stories, right? And it gets better later on, and it starts to deliver more on its mature premise later on. But, like, the difference, that vast difference between the initial promise of what Wuwa tried to give you and then what it gave you at the start is so vast that it makes it feel horrible. But it gets better. I'm not calling the game horrible. I'm just saying, like, there is the distinct difference between what it promised and what it delivered. And now what it is delivering. Because what it's delivering is making good on its initial promise. But, like, the initial... Genshin is opposite that, where it promised you a very simple, straightforward, fairy tale style, hero slays the dragon, saves the town kind of story. And it gave you exactly that. So you got in, you were promised something, you got it, you were satisfied, right? That is a sign of a pretty good story. Now, does it continue to deliver on that over time? The question remains. Right? Same with Wuwa. Did it deliver on that over time? Uh-oh. I think we're done! I think it ended. I think that's it, guys. I think we're cut off. That's it. Beta's over. Wow! Well, I guess we're done. That was it. That was it. That was it. So we just have a loading screen now. We were kicked out. Yeah, it said 18th at 2. But I guess that's UTC. So yeah, that would be wow, I picked a good time for this, huh? But yeah, just to get back on what I was saying. Like, so for me, when I look at stories and whether or not they're good and whether or not I like them and whether I thought they were like really enjoyable is so heavily dependent on what type of expectations the writers set right at the start with their marketing material, with their initial premise, with, you know, all that kind of stuff, with even just the intro cutscenes of the game. And then what they continue to deliver on. Like, do they continue to give me that story? Excellent, right? So I judge it based on that. Anyway, yeah, so there's that, I guess. Yeah. Okay, well, that's that, I guess. I could shift to another game, but then I don't know if I want to. The game I need to be playing right now is not a game I'm supposed to show you guys. So that's that, I guess. R99 is just fun to watch. I've heard really good things about the story of R99. My problem with it is very unique to me, and it's that it is a time travel story, first and foremost. And I can't seem to escape time travel. If you tell me a story is specifically about time travel, I will go out of my way to avoid it. So I just, you know, if I end up in a game or a story or a movie or something and it happens to have time travel in it and I don't know about it, then I'll finish it. But good lord, if you tell me ahead of time that it's there, I'm probably not. There's like 2 instances where I actually enjoy time travel. And even then, I'm like super picky about how it plays out. And that's probably because I'm way too in my head about it. But like when the 2 instances are like in games when the time travel is a mechanic, right? Like, so for example, in Fire Emblem, when you can use time, quote unquote, travel to rewind your turns in combat. So like if you play through 3 turns and you're like, oh shoot, I wrote myself into a corner. You can rewind time, quote unquote, to go back 3 turns and then try a different, you know, configuration. Or like in Life is Strange, where like the whole mechanic is rewinding time, but only in fixed intervals. And like there's nothing else to it. Like in those cases, I tend to be okay with it. And then the other cases where I'm okay with it are things like Steins Gate, where the time travel is the entire point and focus of the story. And it has to be explored as if time travel is the plot device, like is everything. Anything in between those 2 points, and I hate it. Honest to God, anything in between those 2 points, I cannot stand it. If there is time travel in your thing and it is not a gameplay mechanic, then you sure as hell better have that whole situation thoroughly thought through and set up way before you use it as a plot device. Way before. If it just comes out of nowhere like, oh, I'm gonna go back in time and change this, it's like, no, that's called a Deus Ex Machina. We don't do those around here. That's also called a cop-out. Lazy writing. But yeah, that's basically it. So like, I get really exhausted when it comes to time travel as a plot device in stories because of that. It's so hard to do time travel well unless it's like 100% your focus of your story and like the challenges around and the repercussions of changing time. And because it's so hard to do well, I have such a hard time getting into anything like that. But not looking good for Luna 4 then. Yeah, I know. We all saw it coming, and I tried to provide an alternative. Whether or not Hoyo will actually go with that alternative and not just say, oh no, I rewound time. It's like, okay, Fine. I guess. Sure. Let's go with that. It's not like they didn't just do that with Cyrene 2 months ago! Technically with 2.1 with A planting the sacred Sakura tree. Listen, when it comes to when it comes to like doing time travel in this way, you have to abide by your own rules. There have to be really firm rules that you set in place for the time travel to work. My problem with Hoyo and time travel right now isn't so much that they're doing it, it's that the way they're doing it is so bizarre. Like, they're using methods of time travel and they're putting them all into the same series and they're not congruent with each other. Like, they're trying to make HI3, HSR, and Genshin like all in the same universe, which means they all have to like at a macro level work on the same universal principles. But then at the same time, you've got one where in Star Rail you have this bizarre paradox of is it retrocausality or isn't it? And then there's like little instances of like closed retrocausal bootstrap paradoxes. But then also you have multi-world branching world line theory, which is not, it does not work with it doesn't, those two things are not compatible. Like, you end up with all these different theories of time travel. They're all being used at once and they're not compatible with each other. And that bothers me, I think. Also, I hate bootstrap paradoxes, like, on principle. I think they're ridiculous. And like, if you really start to think about them, they're just like, they're not things. Like, you can't have them happen. They can't happen. There's no scenario in which you make that work and it makes sense. In like a traditional world model. I don't know. In a typical real world, it just doesn't. Like, you can do it in a book, sure, but a book isn't a real model. You can do it in a simulation, sure, but a simulation isn't a real model. Right? As soon as you try to do it like in a real world setting, it stops working. It's friggin', I don't, even if something has its own rules, you have to abide by your rules. One of the greatest narrative sins in the world is to break your own rules. Because at that point you stop being an author and you start playing God. And that's not the same thing. It's not a fun read, you know? It's used to purposely make the story more complex than the writers are capable of writing. Yeah, and I guess that kind of falls into the same sort of trap that people get into, that writers get into when like they try to write a really smart character. Because it is really difficult to write a character that is smarter than you. And most authors are not geniuses. You know what I mean? So like, if you try to... This is something I thought a lot about when I was playing through Fire Emblem Three Houses. Because Claude is supposed to be like a genius tactician. But whoever wrote him had no idea how to write smart characters. Not a clue. And they did his character such a disservice that it was like really frustrating to play through. But that you know, like that's a skill that you learn. I don't even know if you have to be smart. You just have to understand how to write a character that sounds, like actually sounds smart. Like, you just have to understand what that looks like and what that sounds like. That's all. Kokomi? Kokomi is a good example of that. They didn't spend enough time, like, actually doing a whole war thing, or we even got to see what kind of tactics she would use. You know, we never saw her command her troops. We only ever saw her, you know, back at home. So that, yeah. You can also sort of cheat and just have your character figure out things it took you a long time to come up with, but in a short time. Yeah, I mean, that's part of it. That's part of how you trick people into thinking that you can write a really smart character. I think writing smart characters takes a lot of planning and a lot of double checking. Like, I think that's one of the issues people come across when they try to write, like, a new version of Sherlock Holmes. Like, how do you write someone who knows the answer really well? One of the shows I really liked that kind of took that trope and ran with it is called Psych. I think I dropped off, like, around season 4 or 5 or something like that. A few seasons in. But up until that point, the writers were writing a character that was pretending to be a psychic, but he really just had like really, really strong observational skills that were taught to him. So like they were trying to write a person who wasn't pretending, who was like naturally smart, but also so stupid outside, like not really stupid, but he was such a normal dude outside of his one ability to like be hyper observant. And he was also pretending not to be like really super smart because he didn't want anyone to know that he wasn't a psychic. So like I thought that was like such a fun twist on it because it made it a lot easier to write his character because they locked him into a very finite set of skills. Anyway, that's my whole thing. I hope I didn't make anyone concerned. I actually have some fun videos planned. Okay, I have some fun videos planned. Even though I kind of lamented a lot of the choices Hoyu's been making with Genshin, the reality is there's still a lot of stuff that I like about Genshin, so I'm not liable to quit. But I am changing up my approach in response to like change is inevitable, right? Like if something changes, you have to respond to it or quit. Those are your only two options. Either you change or you quit. I'm no quitter. At least, I'm not having fun yet. And if I'm not having fun, then it's still fine. So, I do have really fun things planned. I know it sounds like, oh, I'm not gonna focus on the plot anymore. Sounds bad, but you know what? I'm gonna let other people who can make content a lot faster than me. And who are actually really enthusiastic about the direction of the story, carry that banner. I think that's the smart thing to do. I'm gonna stick to the stuff that gets me excited and that I can be excited with other people about. I think that's the way to go. What are some of the things I still enjoy about Genshin? How well researched a lot of the references and stuff are. And then exploration and world quests. Those are like my 3 things besides like their characters. Because the characters themselves are very endearing, even though we've witnessed a few assassinations of evil characters. But like on the whole, the way they structure their characters, they are very endearing. They're very charismatic and they're very, you know, fun to watch, even if they're not in the middle of a world-ending plot. So, you're gonna wake up to Wuwa Ashikai one day? No, I'm not gonna do Wuwa content. Wuwa's story was never written for people like me. It's a good game. They've been doing great stuff with the story. I am not its target demographic, but I also never was. So. But yeah, I wanna focus on things I enjoy and that I can share with other people, because I think sharing enjoyment is kind of what narrative is about, especially with games. Games are meant for fun and entertainment, and in my case, education. Do I want to get into any game lore outside of gacha games? I'm into a lot of game lore outside of gacha games, but not as a content creator. That is solely a business decision. It is very difficult to do work full-time making content for offline games. It's very difficult. Very difficult. So, probably not But maybe after I retire from gacha games, maybe I'll just do like some games that I find fun. Make little casual videos whenever I feel like it. If I'm at a point with a hobby where I'd rather be doing something else, I can, which is something I had to learn. Then again, this is some people's livelihood. Yeah, exactly. That's exactly it. As soon as something becomes a chore, you shouldn't really... If something that once brought you enjoyment becomes a chore, you shouldn't do it anymore. So for me, that's what I'm doing here. Just arrived, you probably already answered it, but are you doing the Genshin Impact Archon quest? I really want to see your reaction. Well, you'll find out, won't you? If you rewind, we're at the end of the stream, buddy. Is content my full-time job? Yeah, right now it is. I don't think it will be for long. I think I've got another 2 years of content creation, and then I'll probably start scaling back. Anyway, that's all I have. That's all I have. Obviously, the beta's over. I can't play anymore. The best thing I could do is, like, run around Genshin and continue, but at the same time, I still need to do the world quests in Genshin. And the map extension is so small that if you walk 10 feet, you'll run into something that triggers some part of the quest. So I can't really do that. And I don't really want to do any running around in HSR. So there's that. Also, the game I really want to run around in right now, I kind of can't on stream. So later, maybe. But I think that's kind of where we'll head out. Woodworking is personally still enjoyable for me. Hope you can still test yourself. Yeah, I'm switching to handyman work when I'm done with content creation. Anyway, I will see you guys later. Thanks for coming out. I'm sorry we didn't get to solve the mystery, but at least we know Grimm's not dead. Pretty good. We will, I think we'll, I'm gonna try and get into the second beta. I'm pretty sure I'll be able to. They said if you fill out the survey, you automatically get into the second beta. I am interested to see how they take feedback and how they adjust the game. I'm just curious. I don't think I'll stream this part of the story again, though. I think if they do add more story into the second beta, I'll pick up where the story leaves off, unless they've changed the whole story, in which case all bets are off. We'll probably do the whole thing over again. So yeah, that's basically the plan for now. In the meantime, I will see you guys in either the HSR recap that's coming out or the next Genshin video I do, which should be really fun. I had a fun idea. Or I'll see you in Arknight's Enfield, because I am picking that game up on the 22nd. So, I'll see y'all later. Thanks for watching. Where's OBS? There it is. Okay. Bye. I'm gonna go